What up, everybody? You're now tuned into the true definition of a sports fanatic. I'm your host, Brandon Lampley, back today with another live stream, man. We got to get this out. We got to get this therapy session going. Back in the barbershop. Just a little sports talk today, nothing major. Got my co-host, Mr. John Reid, with me once again. How you feeling today, Mr. Reid?
Doing good, my man. Doing good on a Sunday.
Yeah, man, on a Sunday, and I hope the Phoenix Suns can get past the Mavericks, because if not, all type of Chris Paul slander is going to be all over the timeline. I seen Suns fans already say he's no longer CP3. If he loses today, he will be forever known as Christopher from this point on.
Yeah, well, it ain't working out too well right now. I say that. I think
Yeah.
they,
Yeah,
they
they
having
getting
that.
buried. It's ooh wee. And see, they can't guard him. They can't guard Luca. They can't guard any of those guys. They can't guard it. They can't guard those guys. And those guys know it. That's like Memphis, for example. Memphis, the Golden State Warriors could not defend Memphis.
Yeah,
They can't. They can't. Especially now if they were missing Ja Morant. If Ja Morant had played this whole series, it's a 7-game series. And man, we talking about a coin flip, man, because it was obvious very early. Those guys can't stick those guys. Not collectively.
I just think sometimes in this league there's a little bit of over coaching. You know, there's a
Yeah.
little bit of not making the adjustment when the other coach, putting in different things, and the other and the opposing coach ain't coming with enough counter moves, and if he's coming with counter moves, they're
Mhm.
not working. That's
Yeah.
my one question about Monty Williams, man. I think he's a great person. I think from what he's shown in Phoenix for the last 2 seasons, that he's the right fit for that franchise. But even if you go back to the finals last year and just in this series here, I mean, He's getting out coached. He's getting out coached by Jason
Yeah.
Kidd.
Yeah. Yes, he is. Yeah, you talk about his lack of adjustments. You talking about the what's the thought process behind Chris Paul guarding Luca in the post? Like
Yeah,
on the perimeter is fine, but in the post, it's going to shoot over him every time.
yeah, it shouldn't. I mean, and that's when I say overcoaching. Overcoaching is when you put that in game two, you keep it going through game three, and
Hmm.
you know it ain't working. You're in game seven now, and you're still doing the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. We're doing the same thing. What you got? That's a
That's
helicopter.
Yeah, man. Man, don't live over in Normandy. Don't live by the Herlog Airport, because I tell you, boy, helicopters, folks be trying to land planes that don't look like they know what they doing.
Yeah, like that plane that crashed into the interstate in Miami. The small
Yeah,
craft crashed into. Yeah, I saw that. But yeah,
man, it's
you're right
like,
about this league. Yeah, this league with over coaching and make certain adjustments that they make. With the Celtics and in Milwaukee, I don't think there was anything that they really could have done, because without Chris Middleton,
oh
the
yeah,
Celtics played absolute superb defense on them, and Milwaukee couldn't hit their outside shots.
well, I remember last year we were talking about Milwaukee's coach. I mean, it took them a little too late in the series to actually make adjustments. And I just think they
Yeah,
won the whole thing because of just he's got the best player on the floor. He got the best
yeah,
player on the floor, and maybe the second best player on the floor, which is Middleton. It's hard to lose a series. But that's the thing in this league, man. I think you have to play what got you there. I think that's the formula. And yeah, you have to
yeah,
make adjustments. It's a little different game. It's more of a in the post type situation in the playoffs than it is during the regular season. But you have to make sure your top guys are playing at number one, the same level that they played at during the regular season, or even increase it but don't put him in situations that just, you know, Chris Paul is a great defender, all defensive guy and all that,
Yeah,
but man, he don't have the physical tools to go up against a guy like Doncic. I mean, and another thing is he's 37 years old. So when you're 37 years old, you have it on Monday. You may not have it on Tuesday. You might have it on Thursday, but you may not have it on Saturday.
yeah,
So you got to make sure that you getting the best that you can get out of him in the spurts that he's going to give it to you. But why waste it? You know, I think
yeah.
he's wasting his defensive effort on a guy that he can't
What up,
stop.
Josh? Yeah,
You know, why waste your defensive effort on a guy that you know he can't stop? You know, use some of your other more physical players, and you want to. I think the way to stop him, you got to be physical with him. I mean, you can't let him drive to the basket, and
yeah,
you got to get. You know, I understand that Chris Paul, you know, maybe be a guy who can deny him the ball on the perimeter. But once he gets the ball and he just backing them into him and he can shoot, you know, he can shoot over him. Doesn't matter what spot on the court, he can
yeah,
shoot over him. And
yeah,
if nothing else, run a double team on him when he's spotting up or something. And I don't see that adjustment. I don't see a guy running at him. I don't see a guy, you know, coming. I mean, you got to double team this guy at this point. I mean, he's everything they got.
yeah. Shoot, or just turn him into a scorer. You know, Shaq said it best. He said, "Okay, Luka, go get 50. Go get 50, Luka. Go
Man,
go
but
get 50 and jack up those shots. Just don't let him be a facilitator."
he is dominating. I mean, I think they done won this series already. It's 45-25 with about 3:37 left before halftime. They done doubled their score, and he's
Man,
dominating them. He's scoring. He's not even taking jump shots. He's just taking it into the basket. You
yeah,
got
he's
one of the
seven for
best
nine.
centers in the league. Use him.
Yeah, yeah, he's 7 for 9 already.
Yeah, he just taking them to the post, man. They just done took, you know, from what I'm seeing in this series,
And
Dallas
Dinwiddie got
basically
18.
Dallas basically have taken the Suns out of everything that they do well, that they did well during the previous series
Mm-hmm.
and in the regular season. They don't even look the same team to me.
What's most baffling about this is that Phoenix is actually one of the best defensive teams in the entire league,
Yeah,
and the Dallas is making them look like they're nothing on the defensive end. I mean, you would think that this is the Lakers that they're playing right now with the
yeah,
way that, this is amazing to me. And and you talked about, I will give you your credit, Mr. Reid, right here on this show. We're gonna give you your credit today. You called Memphis before Memphis was even on people's radar. You said it before they even got to where they are now. You called it. You said Memphis is good. You said this last year.
yeah.
Yeah,
They got a good team. I mean, I don't know how good their coach is.
yeah. Now you said that too. You said one only issue with Memphis is you say you don't know about the coach. You don't know how long he gonna be there.
Yeah. But I tell you what, man, if I was Memphis, I get more offensive production from Jared Jackson Jr. Might be one of the better big mans in a. It's scary to even think what he might turn out to be in the next 3 years.
Yeah,
I mean, a guy who can run the floor like he can run, he can block shots, he can score, he can. Man, I'm seeing a guy now that even a year ago he never took 3-point shot. Now he take them like it doesn't even matter.
yeah, yeah. And
Man,
they can score. Everybody can score. When they
yeah,
dropped, I think what they dropped 134 on Golden State. Everybody scored. You
yeah.
had 6 players, I think, in double figures. So, and now with John Morant as the centerpiece, as long as he can stay healthy, man, I don't know how close they are, but I would bet that they're closer to being championship ready than they were just even say 6 months ago. I would say they much closer.
And I'll say I'll go on record on this. If Phoenix lose this game tonight, watch they be the franchise that hit the panic button and start switching things around, not re-signing people. They'll
Yeah.
be the first organization that got the talent they compete in the West right now,
Mm-hmm.
and they'll be the first one to hit the panic button and say they gotta add this, they gotta change this, or they gotta, and they're gonna they're gonna go from zero
Gonna
to the
Yeah.
60 ain't gonna be the one that damaged that franchise. What? I mean, I'm
I see, and you don't have to make Phoenix right now. Don't have to make wholesale changes. They just
nope.
need to add here and there because you have two centerpieces. You have one bona fide star in what you got two stars in Chris Paul for sure, and another young star. We're talking about young stars, and that's Devin Booker. But
Mhm.
DeAndre Ayton, I would think I would continue to develop DeAndre, and so you got two bookends going into the future. So you don't have to overhaul anything or do anything crazy. I've seen he said my son's going to trade for Harden. Dog,
Yeah,
please.
they might. Don't. Hey, Josh, don't put it past them. They gonna say Chris too old. They need another offensive weapon. I don't. I mean, I say that the Suns GM has been good up to now. But when you go from to the finals, you lose in the finals, you win all those games in the regular season, and you basically done got dominated by Dallas, who a team that, I mean, Dallas is a middle of the road team. They're not a title contender team right now. And they're gonna be that franchise to say, we need another piece. We gotta make changes
Yeah,
because they're looking at Memphis, they're looking at Golden State, and they're looking at those other teams in the West, and they're gonna say that we need more scoring. And one thing that you said, Brandon, they gotta learn how to use DeAndre better. They haven't used him in this series right at all.
yeah,
I would even if he in foul trouble, he is the guy that's supposed to be on Doncic.
hmm
You know,
yeah.
that's
He's the
the
only
guy
one.
that should be the defensive matchup on him right there. Even if he got to come out the post and defend him at the top of the perimeter. He's athletic enough to do that, but
Yep.
Monty don't. Monty just to me almost. I think Monty think he's just a standard back to the basket center that don't have no. You know, he don't have that many attributes other than that. You know, if you look
Yeah,
at the offense, he's scoring a lot on putbacks, lobs, dunks. And I think they got to make him, if they ever going to be a title contender, strong title contender, they got to find better ways to get him the ball, man, and let him create
yeah.
from the
There's no
top.
reason. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no reason why he shouldn't be a 20 and 10 guy.
he should. And but their offense, I mean, you look at Chris Paul, he dominates the ball, obviously, and then you got Booker who can score, and then you got those other guards. But man, you got to use this guy as a weapon. You actually got to use him similar to the way Dallas is using Doncic. You gotta let him create from the top of the key. And if you plan it, I mean, he can feed passes off the pick and roll, but man, you gotta get. I mean, that's another thing. I don't see him doing enough pick and roll plays to get him to the basket like they
Yeah,
did last year.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
standing there with his hands up, and he ain't getting the ball. You
yeah.
know,
He's not the centers of old. He is a seven
no, he
footer
can
that
run
can
the floor.
move.
Yeah, he can
He
run the
guy
floor.
can move. He can do it
Yeah.
all.
You got a nice mid range shot.
hmm
And you got to like create stuff. I mean, it's game over. Essentially, it's 50-27. They got 27 points, and
Yeah.
there's less than 2 minutes to go at halftime.
The leading scorer Cameron Johnson with 5 points. Wow, that's something, man. But hey, you said it. This coaching job that Jason Kidd is doing. I always thought Jason was a good coach. Got a bad shake in Milwaukee, and
Mm-hmm.
some of that was his fault, of course. But he's learned from that. Obviously, he learned from that stint. Took some time. He was on the Lakers staff the last couple of years, and now him in Dallas. Hey, it's a new beginning, and you got one of the better players in the entire league in Luka Doncic. And, they can't stick Dinwiddie either. Dinwiddie got 21.
Yeah, he's killing them. And he wasn't even on the Dallas team until that trade they made. But you're right. Jason Kidd is a guy who makes adjustments. He coaches like he played as a point guard. I mean, there was some games early in that series where they got you know embarrassed a little bit about his son, and then they
Yeah,
came back, and then I'll say game 6, 7. This one here already. I mean, I think the last 3 games of this series up to this game tonight, Dallas has dominated them. Man, it ain't even been close. Doncic can get any shot that he wants. I mean, but this is what you got to do, man. You got a dominant guy like him. You let him create it. You let him create himself. He's creating his own offense. You
yeah,
know, he's either, if you want him to be a facilitator, he got the ball in his hand. If you want to be a scorer, he got the ball in his hand. That's the way you got to do it.
yeah. He said, "How do the Heat defend Tatum?" And I
Uh,
was just, I was just
they're
about
gonna
to
beat
go.
him up. That's how they're gonna defend him.
That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna beat him up. And I got to give Miami their props. Even though, I will give Miami their props, but I'm going to preface it with it was James Harden. So I mean,
Oh,
you beat them.
yeah,
Yes, I got to give you credit. You
yeah.
beat them, but they were dependent on James Harden. I'm not going to disrespect, but it was James Harden. So you see Patrick Beverly talking about the Sixers should give him the max, and I'm like, huh? If
For,
I'm,
for what reason? Why?
let me I'm gonna look up this. Let me get the story real quick. Hold on, wait a minute.
Man,
Let's
please,
see.
that dude don't deserve no man. It's the same thing he did in Houston. I mean, it's his track record. He fades in the playoff. He did
Yeah,
it in Houston. I mean, let's go. You can go down to everywhere he's been. He's faded.
yeah.
He
He said
can't.
you give the boy whatever he's asking for. Yeah, I found it. Hold on, let me share this real quick. But yeah, I got to get a heat their props. The problem is though, collectively as a team, they can get it done. But when you got it, like you only got one guy that can go out and get buckets consistently. And is he going to be? Is he going to get enough scoring from everybody else? Because I know Jimmy buckets is going to show up. Is Tyler Hero going to show up? Is Duncan Robinson going to get some playing time? Is he $90 million? I'm curious. Is he going to get any playing time? They say, okay, so according to former teammate Patrick Beverley, James Harden deserves a max extension, adding there is no player with the Bears' capabilities in the league. Currently under the eye of the storm for his poor performance in the playoffs, James Harden has a $47.4 million player option upcoming, and I think he opted in. Nevertheless, former MVP is eligible for a max extension, which could fetch him close to $275 million in the next 5 years. I would not sign into that. Say, according to early estimates, the Beard will potentially make $61 million in his final year at age 37. However, Harden's recent debacle in the playoffs has raised several questions around it. So let's see. He say, where is he at? Yeah, as far as money wise, you give the boy whatever he's asking for. It might sound crazy, but there's no one in the league that can do what he can do still at this time right now. No, Patrick Beverley. Please, GMs, don't take advice from Patrick Beverley. There's a reason he's a player and you're a GM. No, I'm not. I'm not bracking up nothing. No drink struck to James Harden house. Now, if I'm the Orlando Magic, am I going to pay him? Yeah, because I'm the Orlando Magic. If the Sacramento Kings want to pay him, sure, you're the Sacramento Kings. But anybody who's talking about title contending, no, like the Suns, that he would wreck the Suns.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, I think the only thing that he got in his corner, he's got Daryl Morey
Mm-hmm.
working in the front office in Philly, who worked. Well, he was the
Yeah,
GM with the Rockets, and him and James Harden are tight. Other than that, I can tell you now, he whatever that max deal is, he don't deserve it, and I don't think. Well, I don't know. Morey might think something differently, but it'll be franchise suicide for them to pay this guy that kind of money. If you done
yes,
left a situation that was bad, don't put yourself in another situation that's gonna get even worse. You know what I'm saying?
please.
Don't put
Yeah,
you've been in a Ben Simmons situation, so don't. don't go from bad to worse. That guy showed that guy. I mean, James Harden showed everything in that series. You know, you can't trust that. You can't. It's slippage. I think he's done lost a step.
Yeah,
One thing about stars, man, in this league, you can get old fast, and
yeah,
not just old, just exposed. You can get
yeah,
exposed fast, and it looked like he got exposed fast. And to pay him the max deal, and like you say, hey, if you Orlando, I think you do that deal. If you Orlando, I think you need a
yeah,
star that you can attract people to come to your
yeah,
games, and he'll be that guy. But
yeah.
I think a guy like him for a contending team and all the pressure is on him. I think
Mm-mm.
those days are. I just don't think James delivers. Now he will deliver on a marginal team that needs fans to come to the games, and he can be James Harden. He'd be get the first option, the second option, the third option, and
Yeah,
that's to be honest, that's the type of guy that a franchise like Orlando needs. But if you're talking about Philly, who might change their coach, might you talking about a fan base that's been patient. Yeah, then you got a superstar on your roster already, and the timetable is ticking, man. That they got to,
yeah,
they got to do better. You can't waste that talent that you have on that roster. And I just think, what I said earlier, I just think James is just not, whether he was with the Nets, Houston, or now with Philly. I just think I just believe he's a guy that wears down in the playoffs. I think he gives great effort during the regular season, but when you get down in them second in the late rounds of the playoffs, I just don't think he has it. And it looks to me he didn't have it. He didn't have it in this series.
yeah. You say Magic need Isaacs back, not Harden. Yeah, they need Isaacs back.
They
No,
need
no.
whoever they can get back.
Yeah, yeah.
They
So
even get what 20? What how many wins they had? Like 20? Did they get 23 wins? Let's see.
So some seeing as what the score is now, we can deduce what the next series is going to be. Oh yeah, halftime 57-27. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't see
so
them coming back. So
yeah,
we're looking at Heat Celtics
yeah.
and Warriors Mavericks. And I will say Heat Celtics. I could definitely see this series going 7 games, 6 at the minimum. I don't see nobody dominating this series. I think it's going to be a back and forth. My only questions with the Heat is where's the scoring going to come from in crunch time outside of Jimmy Butler? Because the Celtics are not going to allow Jimmy Butler to beat them in crunch time. I think they can adjust. You have Jason Tatum. You got guys who can stick him. Now Jimmy's going to still get buckets, but who else is going to get those buckets? Now the Celtics, on the other hand, um, as long as Marcus Smart and Jaylen Brown are playing to the level that they're capable of, and we know what Jason Tatum is, I don't see how they could beat the Celtics.
Yeah, you're right, but you gotta. I think a guy like Tyler Hero. I,
You got to
I,
step up.
I think they gotta get. I mean, they gotta get scoring off the bench for one thing.
Bam Adebayo has to. He got to
Yeah,
dominate, man.
he's gotta dominate.
Al Horford gonna have his hands full.
DJ Tucker gotta be a little more offensive minded. I mean, I think it's a tough matchup for the Heat, man. To be honest, I agree with you on that end. I actually feel that the Celtics are playing great defense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think I mean I mean they can take away a lot of things from a defensive standpoint, and I just think they play good as a team. And I hate the Celtics as an organization.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Celtics
Yeah,
fan either.
let me put that out there, but I do appreciate good basketball. I do appreciate good team basketball, and I appreciate
Yeah,
teams who makes adjustments as the season going. And you got to look at what they've done, man. They beat a good team in that series. I mean, Milwaukee is a good team, even though they didn't
that was a
have
good team.
Middleton, but they took away a lot of things that Milwaukee does, and You know, I think that a team coming in with momentum, who's done already knocked off the defending champs, they coming in with some vengeance. They feel that they can beat Miami, but
Yeah,
Miami I mean,
it's a good team.
they're a gritty team, man. And
Yeah,
if you beat them, you're gonna have to beat them. You're gonna have to physically beat them, and you're gonna have to keep. Miami's a team that's gonna keep punching. First game through whatever game, how many games it go? 6 games, 7 games. They're gonna keep that switch, that light gonna be on. So if you beat them, you gotta beat them.
yeah.
And I can say they do need Lowry
I
back.
was going, yeah. If you can get playoff Kyle Lowry back, we could be talking about a different series if Lowry can come back. What's the diagnosis on him? Because I know
He
he was
played
playing,
one
but very
game.
sparingly. Yeah, he didn't play much, and he didn't look good when he did play.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he played
yeah, he
one
didn't.
game. So I think he might be battling conditioning too. So,
I think so too. Yeah, he doesn't look right. So I don't know, but I would say if I had to pick right now, I would say the Celtics in 7. Yeah,
yeah,
if I
but
had
it's
to.
so hard. He's got a hamstring issue, so I can see that, man. It's hard
Mm-hmm.
to deal with a hamstring injury in the playoffs. So
Yep, yep. I know I doubted the Heat, and it was Philadelphia, and said that if Harden could be Harden, then who knows what would have happened. But he laid an egg, and it is what it is. But as far as as far as Mavericks Suns,
that's
um,
embarrassing, man. To be honest, it's embarrassing right now. It's embarrassing for a team to make it to the finals. Game 7 at your arena, and you're
mhm,
down 30 at halftime. That's a
that's embarrassing.
testament of something that done been lost, or the
Hmm.
message is not getting through, or something. And that
Yeah, yeah. Because now that
somebody hadn't made any adjust. I mean, I don't know what it is. They just look like they just not into it tonight, man. It just look like one of those nights where everything is bad. They slow on getting out on shooters with all this on the line. You can't get scoring. I saw
yeah,
DeAndre and I think at one point in that game in the first half, Chris and DeAndre were 0 for 11. Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
0 for 11. I mean, come on, man.
Hey, so when they come out of halftime and they get a speech, they need to end it with, "All right, Cabo on three, Cabo on three, 1, 2, 3, Cabo,"
Yeah,
because they going fishing already, man. This
this is
57-27 in a game 7.
27 points in a half on one of the highest scoring teams in the league. That's a defeat right there in itself. They got 27 points combined in 2 quarters.
Wow.
I mean that to me is just as bad as the 30. Down by 30. They got no offensive execution, man. I got to look at the box score, man. How many points Booker got? Is Booker taking a shot?
I don't know because I know Cam. Was it
They got
yeah,
27
Cameron
points.
Johnson 5 points. Yeah, he's the leading scorer for the
The
Suns.
leading scorer got 5 points.
Yeah, he's tied. He's tied with Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder and Cam Johnson both have 5 points. Chris Paul got 1. Devin Booker got 2. He's 0 for 7. Wow, what is going on, man? What is going on? Mm.
Yeah.
He said,
Also,
Where's last year's Booker? Yeah, where is last year's Booker? I don't know, man. I mean, and I seen where like Nick Wright, he did like this little cartoon drawing of the superstars in the NBA, and he got the different guys in like a little superstar house, and he kicked out Anthony Davis, I think, to put Jason Tatum in today. So yeah, and then I seen waiting in line at the superstar house. Devin Booker was in that line. But man, I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on with
so
Devin
this is
Booker,
how
but
sad it is. Doncic got 27 points. He got the whole total that the Suns have in the first half.
Yep. And he 4 for 7 from 3, 9 rebounds. Dude, this dude's gonna have a triple double by the end of the game. Yeah, he
And then
27, 9, and 3
Dinwiddie got 21 off the bench.
off the bench. 7 for 10, 4 or 5 from 3. Good Lord.
Oh, man, Chris Paul 0 for 4, 1 point, man. That's the stuff I'm talking about. Booker 0 for 7. 0 for
Yes.
7.
0 for
How can you
7.
go 20 minutes and be 0 for 7? Come on,
Yeah.
man. It's the time to attack the basket if you 0 for 2 for 3-point range, but man, he's only scored
And
off of free throws.
and it's stuff like this that lets me know that athletes quit. Because if this was college, if this was high school, and if this was a professional, I understand a score like this. Because even you get top teams in college football, they get blown out, whatever. But we got grown men playing against grown men, and this happens. Oh man. Oh well, he'll come back. And this happens. This is incredibly embarrassing. Like they just straight up quit. The Suns are straight up quitting right now. This is amazing to see. But once again, Monty Williams not making adjustments. Jason Kidd is absolutely scorching him right now. But hey, it is what it is. Hopefully, my co-host can come back. I don't know what happened to him, but we're gonna keep the show going. Oh, there he is.
Wrong button, man.
Gotcha. Yeah, I got you.
I'm upset
He
with this goal, man.
He say it's like he's talking about it's like Jags Titans. Yeah,
Getting out
straight up quit. Straight
30
up
to
quit.
10 in the second quarter, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, straight up quitting, man.
They
Oh my
scored 10
goodness.
points in the biggest game that matters, and they scored 10 points in the second quarter, man.
Mm-mm-mm.
Money,
So
come
now,
on, Money.
so now since I got Celtics in 7. Who you got? Mavericks, Warriors. I got the Warriors, of course. The Warriors outlast them. You know, too many veterans, too strong, too much firepower. I can see them getting them in probably. I want to be nice, but it's going to depend on because Luka. We know what Luka's going to do. It's going to depend on Dinwiddie and other guys around him, and Brunson because Brunson is 1 for 7. Brunson can play. And that Brunson ain't even playing well, and they still blowing him out.
Yeah.
Man, Brunson can play.
You can blow him out when Booker go 0 for 7.
Yeah. But I see Warriors, and I would say Warriors in 6. Yeah, I would give Warriors in 6. I want to say 5, but I'm going to give Luka. Luka going to have a game or two, and yeah. But I say Warriors in 6.
Well, I'm gonna make 3 predictions.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Heat gonna beat the Celtics. They're gonna go 7, but I'm going with the Heat.
Okay.
I just think the Warriors can spread the floor. They got more shooters. Yeah. I think they could go 6, but I wouldn't be shocked if that series go 5. And
Yeah.
And my third prediction is I just think Chris Paul, he's 37. He might play till he's 40. I don't think he's ever going to win a ring.
Yeah. I don't see it either.
I just don't think it's in the cards for him to win a ring, and he's going to be the Charles Barkley of this generation to put all that he put into a great career, but don't win a championship. I think the closest he's going to come is last year.
Yeah,
because I don't think right now. I think you're looking at maybe some changes going on in Phoenix, and it might be Chris. I think they might look at trying to get a point guard that's younger.
Yeah.
But
they came out scoring again. It's 59-27 now.
Yeah, but they just this when you get beat down like this in a critical game to move on to the finals of the conference, and sometimes changes happen. Some didn't work.
Yeah.
You can't be the number 1 seed and get embarrassed like that. So I don't know what's in the cards. I don't know what their draft slot is, but they got to come up with some different strategy or something. That's embarrassing, man.
Yeah. So if you lost to the Warriors like this, no problem.
Yeah.
but you lost to the Mavericks like this,
Yeah.
man.
A middle of the road team. I mean,
Yeah,
that maybe what they was, what they was as a seed, a fourth or fifth.
yeah,
It
52
was
and
a
30
fourth.
on the season. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
but at no point when the playoffs started, at no point did anybody think the Mavericks would be able to contend for a title. At
no,
no point. That was not on anybody's mind. Oh,
make it to the Western Conference Finals. Nobody
yeah.
predicted that.
No, nobody predicted that. So for them to get here, hey, 62 to 27, they're killing them.
Yeah, they
Oh,
can't even get.
Jalen Brunson done woke up. He done hit 2 shots already.
Yeah, man, he just threw a
They in
turnover.
trouble.
They
Yeah.
completely out of their offense. You know,
Mm.
I know money, man. I know this is something back in the past of money, man. Just I don't know, man. I wish him well, but
Yeah. Yeah. It is what it is, man. But so man, we're gonna move on and I'll keep an eye on this
2 to
beatdown that's going
27.
on.
Good
Yeah,
Lord have
but
mercy.
we're gonna stay in basketball, man. We're gonna talk about. I don't know if you've heard about this, but Liz Cambage, she had left the Olympics. When the Olympics was going on, she had left, due to mental health concerns or something like that. But the story is supposedly they got into it with some of the Nigerian team, and it got very heated. Blows were supposedly thrown and words were exchanged, and now she's being accused of saying some unsavory things about her opponents. And so it says, former Opals captain alleges that claims. Man, who wrote this title? Former Opals captain alleges that claims. Alleges that, man, that's crazy. Liz Cambage told Nigerian basketball players, "Go back to your third world country," are true. So she claims that Liz Cambage told basketball players, "Go back to your third world countries," are true. So it says former Opals captain Jenny Ohay has spoken about the incident which prompted Liz Cambage's messy exit from the national program, alleging unconfirmed claims that the star told Nigerian rivals to go back to your third world country are true. As a Cambage was independently investigated and issued a formal reprimand, but not suspended or fined after last year's practice game altercation derailed the Opals Tokyo Olympics campaign. In the days after the Nigeria clash, she withdrew from the games, citing mental health concerns, and then, despite remaining available for selection for this year's World Cup in Sydney, she said she would never again play for the Opals. Yeah, one of her issues was she felt like they didn't have her back in the situation, so she's like, "I'm no longer going to play for them." She said, however, the specifics of Cambage's on court actions have remained a mystery since. On Sunday, while Ohay was a guest on ABC's Outsiders program, she was asked about the incident by the show's host, Kelly Underwood. Say, this all started in that training game or the pre Olympics game when you played Nigeria, Underwood said. And it's never really emerged what happened, but I've had it confirmed from a few sources. Is it correct that you were playing Nigeria and Liz Cambage had her feathers ruffled and she turned to them and said, "Go back to your third world country"? And of course, Ezzy McBeggar is originally Nigerian. I'm pretty sure I butchered that. A Nigerian who is now living in Australia and playing for your team. And as a result, there was a brawl that erupted. And since then, you haven't spoken to her. So she had a teammate that was Nigerian playing for the national team. And they had an issue. Oh, okay. I did not know that. See, Ohay responded with the claim that is all 100% correct. Fellow guest Caroline Wilson then asked Ohay whether Cambage would ever represent Australia again. She said no. But you go and read more on this story, and I think Andrew Bogut was also spoke out on this. But I just want you to get a gist of what they're claiming. And one of the things about stuff like this is that we're getting one side of it. Now, do I condone what she said if she said that to the Nigerians? No, you shouldn't say that. That's in poor taste. You shouldn't say that. But now thing is, that's in poor taste. But what led up to her saying that? That is important. Sports can be a dirty game. Trash talk goes too far. So before you vilify her for saying what she said, what did the Nigerian team say? Because they didn't wasn't handing out cookies and hugs, and then she said, "Go back to your third world country."
Yeah.
Supposedly, what happened is that they were handing out behind whoopings, and she got upset about it from some people who was supposedly there. That they were kicking that behind, and she started talking, and they got into it. But that's hearsay even then. But I just want to know what was said.
Yeah. Well, the trash talk they got out of hand a little bit, and she's a player who, I mean, popular, and I don't like stories where their lapse time happened. As far as my thing, you know,
Yeah,
if this is 3 days ago, then yeah. But 10
yeah,
months after the Olympics, and you know, playing on one team, not representing Australia anymore, and all those. I mean, it's a lot of things that be thrown in there as get back, as I call it. So
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, this because she's basically told her allegiances no longer lie with them. What
yeah,
is the incentive for them to protect her now? And
yeah,
the reason she's not playing for them is because she said she felt like they did not
been
protect her in
protected.
this situation.
Yeah, and she in the WNBA, right?
Yeah, yeah, she's in the WNBA.
With the
Yeah,
Sparks.
she said she was going. She's I think she is with the Sparks. She
Mm,
said that she was pretty much going to quit because of some of the expenses and stuff that they because they had to pay for I think their own flights or something like that. And she was saying how she makes more money, being an influencer and on Instagram that she does in the league. And so she had criticized the league. But then I looked up, it was like maybe a month later, oh, she's with the Sparks. I said, oh, so she's going to continue to play ball.
yeah.
Yeah, so
Hopefully
it's
she
it's,
didn't.
it's
Hopefully she didn't say those comments about the Nigerian team though. But it's like one person's comment and another person's comment, and it's hard to justify. She said or she did not say.
yeah. Yeah. So while we're still on the WNBA, Josh just sent me a story. Appreciate that, Josh. And I've been meaning to talk about this too. So Brittany Griner's pre-trial detention in Russia extended by a month, and so I've heard that they're supposedly working on an exchange. It's some person here that Russia will want in exchange for her. And so the U.S. is supposedly in negotiation, and of course that's rumors from the stuff that I've heard, but I wouldn't be surprised if that is going on. So it says Russian authorities paraded WNBA star Brittany Griner in court near Moscow on Friday and extended her pre-trial detention for another month. Her lawyer said pictures here of Kimki just outside the Capitol showed a handcuffed Griner being led out of court with her head down and her signature dreadlocks emerging from an orange hooded sweatshirt. Griner's lawyer, Alexander Boykov, said his client's detention was extended to June 18 and that the short extension may indicate that her case will go to trial soon. And says so. A consular office from the U.S. Embassy in Moscow met briefly with Griner at the courthouse Friday. State Department spokesman Ned Price told reporters in Washington D.C. The officer was able to confirm that Griner is doing well and can be expected under what can only be described as exceedingly difficult circumstances. Price said. The State Department declined to comment specifically on Griner's courtroom developments Friday. As we have stated repeatedly, Russian system wrongfully detained Ms. Griner, said a State Department representative who called for fair and transparent treatment for all U.S. citizens when they are subject to legal processes overseas. The WNBA said its monetary developments. Today's news on Brittany Griner was not unexpected, and the WNBA continues to work with the U.S. government to get Brittany Griner home safely and as soon as possible. Griner, star center for the Phoenix Mercury, was arrested February on drug charges after a search for luggage at the I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. That's ridiculous. International Airport near Moscow allegedly turned up vape cartridges containing oil derived from cannabis. Authorities said. So, and I mean, we know what the deal is because supposedly, no, that was normal what she did, and it's
Hmm.
something that she's done many times before, and all it is what's currently going on.
Oh, that's all it is. Yep, you're
That's
right.
it. That's it. Come on, because you detaining her for what? That's all. That's all that this is. She's not unruly. She doesn't have a past. She has no record. She has none of those things. This is all about what's currently going on.
And that's the problem, man. It's just detaining her all this time for nothing. You know, nothing. She has nothing to do with the relationships right now going on between the U.S. and Russia.
Yeah.
He's a sports figure who was over in their country just to supplement her salary from their WNBA, and now Russia done turned it into a political thing more than anything else. So, okay, we can detain her, and we want to negotiate with you to bring back one of our prisoners, and in exchange for her, that kind of thing. I don't know. To be honest, man, I don't know what's going on in Russia, man. You know,
Mm.
I know everybody talk about the war, but man, it's just ridiculous that this young lady is over there being detained for something that is minor as that.
Yeah.
Don't have
It's minor.
much input on what her lawyers can get, or it's just sad, to have this young lady being detained basically for no reason, and the communications between her lawyer is limited. She's like alone in Russia. That's what it seemed like, without you know not much contact, limited representation by a lawyer, and they got Russia obviously just have makeup rules where they just throw laws in there that they came up with on Monday.
Yeah. Yeah. So and it's a very trying time for her.
Yeah,
Hopefully she's able to stay strong, because it's one thing, you have somebody out, bad intentions, or they're doing things where you're gonna get caught, doing stuff you're not supposed to do. But this is wrong place, wrong time.
yeah,
This is not a pattern of behavior for her. The only other trouble she's ever been in was with her, I think it's her ex-wife. I think they were married. They were either engaged to be married, or they were getting married. But they had a domestic dispute. But other than that, she hasn't been in any trouble. She's been a model citizen, So and people, of course, they ask, well, if this was LeBron James, would this still be going on? It probably would be worse, if we're being
yeah.
honest. He's probably not going anywhere. You see,
But you
so
can't go in that country right now, man. It's just not a
no,
country to go into. And
no,
it
no,
also
no, you cannot.
says that the WNBA, they have to pay their athletes more, man. So they won't have their athletes having to go play in other countries when they're not in season.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
got
yeah. I mean, yeah, because they said they make more over there than they do here in the U.S.
yeah, they
So
do.
the women, they're not going to give up those opportunities to go make more money and play ball in other countries.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you're not gonna make that here. So they basically, the ladies are, I think, they basically playing like year round, playing basketball
yeah,
year round.
yeah. To supplement their salary.
Yep. Yeah. So, but that's the WNBA is to blame for that. I mean, we talked about it before. If we're gonna get down to the bones of that, it's the WNBA, and the people at the top,
Yeah,
because they don't market their game well. They don't market their stars well.
yeah.
There's a lot of decisions that they make has put them behind, questionable stuff, and then you're finding teams for flying players first class. When I remember, we talked about that story. You're finding teams for chartering flights for their players. Are you serious?
Well, I think the NBA should get a little bit more involved and use some of that money that they have to help this league get along a little better.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
the NBA used their marketing arm to help the WNBA, then maybe that's what they need to do, because they do need to promote the game a little better.
See, Booker's 1 for 10 now. Yeah, he's already in Cabo, man. He's already know what cabana he's gonna be staying at. He already knows who he's gonna invite. The itinerary is already planned for Cabo. That's why Booker's 1 for 10 right now. and the
Yeah.
Suns are pretty much going outside. They quit. That's the only explanation for this. Mavericks are not better. The Mavericks are not a better team than Phoenix. On paper, in real life, none of that. These guys have quit, and they're getting out coached.
Yeah, getting out coached, getting punched in the mouth in the lane, and they just I don't know. The Phoenix look like they tired. It's just like I'm looking at it like all these jump shots hitting at the front of the rim. It just seems like a team that don't have no lift on the legs, aiming shots. They done lost the rhythm on the shooting. And then they're just getting beat. They're getting beat defensively. They're not getting over on switches.
Yeah,
And they look exhausted, man. That's that. You play the finals and you come back and you play 2 series into the series. It's a test. It's a
yeah,
mental test. It's a physical test.
it's a test.
And they
Yeah,
look like round by game 3. They had a tough series in that opening series against the Pelicans, and it just seemed like to me, and they went in this series, it looked like they were on, like they had tired legs by game 3.
yeah, yeah, yeah. They do.
It takes a lot, man. I will give Doc Rivers credit on this. At that press conference after they lost to the Heat, he said that it's hard. Winning is hard. It's hard when you get to this
Yeah,
point of the playoff, and it is. It's hard. It's a mental thing. I mean, you look at it, it's a lot of games. You traveling. You got to play at a high level after a long regular season. And then you got to have the strategy that they're trying to take away things. They done seen you know each other, it ain't too much strategy can go in it once you 3 games into the series. And then they come down to want to, will, and still running your offense and making it happen. And it's a mental challenge.
yeah, yeah. Yes, it
It's
is.
hard. It's hard winning, man. It's hard to be a champion.
Yeah, yeah, because like I said, well, if it was easy, everybody would be able to do it. But no, it is very hard. And then if you have James Harden on your team, I'm sure it's even more tough.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
sure
sure.
it's a. I'm
I'm
sure
sure
it's a. Like you gotta coach past James Harden. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure
You
Sam
have to.
Cassell, who's Doc's assistant, is assigned to James Harden.
Yeah,
If Sam Cassell can't pull it out of him, I don't think anybody can.
no, no. And I heard Sam Cassell. He's been coaching for a minute now.
Yeah,
I've heard nothing but mostly positive things about him as far as his coaching.
yeah. He's a motivator. He get on you. I mean, he don't shy away.
Yeah,
If you play horrible, he gonna tell you in your face you played horrible. But James, I know back to James. James, the son, though, man. James looked like he done checked out for his career, not just the playoff series. It seemed like he done got old in a hurry.
yeah, dude. So, man, but we're gonna leave that right there. We're gonna stay in the NBA before we get to some football. And talk about Bismack Biyombo. He says he's donating his full NBA salary from this season to build a hospital in the Congo and honor his late father. Because I think he took time off from the league to take care of his father who was sick. And so I think the father passed, and he's when his father passed, he's going to donate his salary in order to build the hospital. So let's see. Bismack Biyombo will donate his NBA seasonal salary to build a hospital in his native Democratic Republic of the Congo, DRC, in honor of his late father. The Phoenix Suns star said Friday. Hold on. Whoop. The 29-year-old returned to the NBA in January, signed a contract for the duration of the season with the Suns, having not played since the close of the 2020 2021 campaign last fall. According to Spot Track website, Biyombo's contract with the Sun is worth 1.3 million. Biyombo had been a free agent leaving the Charlotte Hornets, but took time from the sport to care and then grieve for his father, Francis. Now back on the court, Biyombo's sole mission is to dedicate his season to his father's memory, channeled through his performances and efforts of his Bismack Biyombo Foundation. And there he is with his dad. He said, I think once my dad passed, the love of the game kind of fell a little bit because he was my everything, my friend, my business partner, my mentor, and everything. Biyombo said in the video posted to the foundation's YouTube channel. I want to make this year about my dad because my dad spent most of his life making his life about me, my brothers, my sisters, and servicing people. Biyombo spent 45 days with his father, first in Congo and then organizing a transfer in Turkey before he died at the age of 61 in August of 2021. He said in an interview with Anscape last month, Biyombo said his dad had been diagnosed with COVID in July 2021. He recovered, but COVID created other health complications.
Well, that's a
So,
good human interest story for him doing that, man.
Yeah, it is. Not really give you some of that, but yeah, this it's a good story, and just want to give some positivity in there, and think that's it's a really good thing. It's sad that he lost his dad, and it's a lot of them. I think Karl Anthony Towns lost his mom and his dad, and it just it shows that we're only seeing the beginning stages of what the pandemic is going to how it's going to affect us. We're not even we haven't even seen the effects that it's going to have, especially the long term effects. And already we're starting to see little things here and there where from people being whether it's being inside, currently what the economic is, the housing bubble, inflation. I mean, you name it. So many things going on, and on top of that, of course, and I forgot all about it. I meant to speak on it, but those four actual mass shootings over the weekend. I was talking to my aunt today, and all of a sudden I was like, I noticed around the weekends those go up. Whether it's like Easter weekend here in Jacksonville, Florida, where we had like nine people were shot.
Yeah.
And now for this weekend, you had Milwaukee, two separate incidents after the game, Buffalo, and now California this morning. And they think one of the things that people talk about is, the gun laws got to get stricter. You got to ban this and ban that. That's not going to stop anything. I hate that argument because the people who want to get them, the bad people who are going to do bad things with them, are always going to be able to get them. There's nothing illegal guns. You're not going to be able to stop the illegal flow of it because too much money changes hands when those guns are brought into the communities. It's not going to stop.
Well, I say this. I think what needs to stop is
Oh yeah, Michael Hyde donated portions of the charity softball game to the victims in the Buffalo shooting.
Yeah, we gotta change the way news is delivered in this country on some of these national stations, man. I think Fox News is a problem.
Yeah,
There's too much race baiting and too much Trump this and Trump that, and it's just building it's building the hatred that's going on right now in this country, man. You got a studio host on Fox who just, he's just almost like the second Trump.
Yeah.
And, there's not enough accountability. There's not enough repercussions. It's like, man, you can't just keep insinuating things, we talked about this before the show that, you got a national network talking about that this new topic then came out about that some people in this country from the white race feel that they're literally trying to that they think that the society is trying to replace him.
Yeah, fear
And
mongering.
yeah,
They
the
make them
fear.
fearful. Yeah. Hmm.
And this guy Tucker Carlson, I mean, it just I don't know, man. It just seemed like he got no boundaries. Like he can discuss anything, and he can cross the line. There's no repercussions, and he's got a big audience. But if you really probe what his audience is, it's just a bunch of racists.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
I
And it's
say this,
amazing.
and I'm always gonna say it. I'm not afraid to say things, but I think the biggest issue in this country and the biggest issue in Jacksonville is race. It's a topic that don't get talked about, but it's a topic that also, when you look at the shooting in Buffalo, man, this young man, I mean, he just wanted to go up. He drove 200 miles just to kill black people. And I
Yeah.
just think there's a problem. I mean, when we look at some of these mass shootings, I mean, I still cringe when I think about the shooting in the church, I believe in South Carolina,
Yeah. Yeah. Hmm.
and
Yep.
targeting people that look like me and you for the reason that me and you look like each other. Other than that, there's no other reason that they got killed.
Yeah. I saw his manifesto, and it had so many statistics about black people that are false.
But that's the problem. The falsehood is being created by that network. There's a lot of false things getting out on Fox that something got to stop it. Because you basically I guess the right word to say is that you just doing things to create hate when
Yeah.
it don't even need to be created. You know,
Yeah. One of the issues, and you could probably attest to this. One of our issues is that we don't have black media. We
no, we
don't.
don't. We don't
So
have enough input that go mainstream media.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
because media is information, and when you don't control the information, whoever's controlling it can put whatever message they want to put out. That's the problem.
that's why I always say in this business, man, the greatest thing that you can have in media, you have to have diversity. Whether it's Fox, I think the biggest problem with Fox News, they don't have enough. There's not enough diversity. There's not enough voices that's different from their mainstream, not the mainstream of America. There's just not enough dissenting voices. The one thing I like about CNN, at least at CNN, a lot of people say, "Oh yeah, it's just a liberal news network," but at least they're going to give you a liberal side. It might be more than that opposite side, but at least you got a different version of the story from different
Yeah,
segments of the audience. You go on Fox News, it's just like only thing that it caters to is Trump supporters. That's it. They don't care about the other side. They don't care about what the other side is thinking. They don't talk to the person who disagrees with what their thoughts are. This Tucker Carlson guy, he'll never have anybody he'll invite on his show to have an opposite view. That's not journalism. You
yeah,
shouldn't be a news network and could call yourself a news network. And the only thing you streamlining is the segment of the audience that you have on your. You're not trying to build your audience around what this country is, which is diverse. This is whether they like it or not. America is going to be diverse. It's always been diverse,
hmm,
and you can't have a news organization that's nationwide that only caters to one segment of the population. It's wrong. You might as not even be a news. Just call it what it is. You the Trump station, and that's not journalism. But the problem is what we discussing tonight is that young man with his manifesto And the things that he was hearing probably on this Fox News is the one that makes him think that this is the action I need to take by listening to all this hate mongering going on. And and not just him, there's others listening, and there's other ones that's out there now. This kid 18 years old, man.
Yep.
Now 18.
Yep.
Young and impressionable, and he's hearing all this stuff about they're trying to take away this and all that. And just like we discussed before the show, man, history does not change. The greatest thing that we need to do, we need to go back and re-look at the history of this country and see the mistakes that was made in the past that's reoccurring right now at this moment.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. This is true, man. So it's what a lot of people do, and what they create echo chambers. So they're
Mm-hmm.
not looking for opposing views or people who go against whatever. And instead of you understanding people in their views and how they feel, if it's not the same as yours, they shout you down and they try to cancel you. That's what's the part of cancel culture. Because anybody who comes along and they're opposite of whatever their favorite or whoever their network they watch, they want to get you out of here because you're spitting rhetoric that they don't want to hear because it's not the message that they're used to. I mean, that's just human nature. That's what people do, But
But you
I,
can't you can't you can't live a world, and you cannot live in this world in 2022 living in a world of hate.
yeah,
You can't do it. We're not going anywhere. So that's the number one thing. But to live a world of hate, to go in a grocery store that's in a black neighborhood and shoot it up for what? I mean
yeah,
that's what disturbing to me. For what? You just took innocent people's lives for no reason other than that they were black. You know,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's just. I mean, we gotta become. I mean, we've been talking about this on your show for a while, man. We got a problem in this country. We got a problem in Jacksonville. We gotta find a solution to why there's so much hate. Number one, and why that racism. If you really look at what the young people are now, well, the young
mhm,
people now, they go to integrated schools. You know,
yeah,
it is an
yeah,
integrated society. When you look at when I was in school, I was bust the ocean way, and that was the only time that I went to school with white kids.
yeah,
But we
yeah,
got a problem in this country, man. You just can't put it under the rug and say it don't exist. Race is a problem, and it's
yeah,
been a
yeah.
problem. And if you don't
No,
talk
it
about
definitely
it,
is.
find solutions to it, it's always going to be simmering.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's all. Yeah. It's going to be an issue. As long as you act like it doesn't exist and you don't address it, it's going to be an issue.
yes, sir.
But shout out to Bismack Biyombo. I know you're talking about that, but more stories like that, out of the kindness of his heart, because he didn't have to donate that money. After he lost his father, he could have made his money and went back to wherever he came from, not helped anybody, and I would
Mm-hmm.
have been understanding of that. But he took money out of his mouth, food out of his mouth, family mouth, kids' mouth to help his community.
Mm-hmm.
More of that, please. He said Booker now leads the Suns with 11 points. Yeah, Jalen Brunson woke up too. He got 22 now. So yeah, it's 105 to 62. That's absolutely horrible. 107 to 62. Absolutely horrific. That's
Yeah, this one over. It's final under 8 minutes.
yeah, yeah.
So
This is over. This is over. This is definitely over.
this is one I want to hear what the Phoenix Suns says after the game. I want to hear what minor explanation of what happened went wrong in this series
Yes,
because
I would love to hear it.
they owe they definitely owe the Suns fans like what in the world went wrong when you can't stop a Dunwitty. The guy got 28 points. The guy went 10 or 14. He got 28 points, and basically he's a journeyman. I mean, come on, man.
Come on, dog. Yeah, yeah. No, you're right about that. So man, we
Hey,
gonna we
Chris
gonna put a pin
Paul.
in.
I'm almost to the point that I'm tired of this Chris Paul mess. I mean, I'm it's like I'm saying the same thing he might as well go back and play with the Clippers. I'm saying the same thing. They can't win the big one.
Yeah,
He did get to the big one. I will give him credit last year, but still he fizzled out. Might be one of the
yeah.
greatest point guards to ever play the game, but can't. There's something about the playoffs in his career.
So something about the playoffs, man. Yeah, it's been an issue. It has been its issue, man. So, man, we're gonna put a pin in that NBA talk. We're gonna do a little NFL talk before we get out of here because man, we at 110. I said an hour and a half, so we still kind of good.
Yeah, man.
That time be flying, man. But we're gonna talk a little Jags and Mr. Josh Lambo is suing the Jaguars. So it's the Jacksonville Jaguars are being sued for Urban Meyer coaching with his feet. That's a pretty funny headline. He said, former Jaguars kicker Josh Lambo, forever known as the kicker who was kicked by Urban Meyer, is suing the Jacksonville Jaguars for creating a hostile work environment during the 2021 season. Meyer's tenure lasted less than a year, but he certainly made his mark on that organization and on Lambo, who is claiming that the physical and verbal abuse he underwent at the hands and feet of Meyer affected his ability to sleep, practice, and play. Lambo, who had been with the team since 2017, went from being the most accurate kicker in Jags history to getting released from the team in October, per Tampa Bay Times. He's asking for his 2021 salary, which amounts to $3.5 million, as well as damages for emotional distress. Football coaching culture has long been defined as by an in-your-face, physical, and even sometimes belittling style to writing best out of to ring the best out of your team's players. To see a coach grab a player's helmet by the grill, or enact a grueling physical punishment, or even force a player to practice through an injury, we've seen as part of sports that demanded toughness. Yeah, like was that Bruce Arians slapping the player in the head in the playoff game? In the back of
Yeah,
the helmet.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He said coaches who emotionally or physically abuse their players are being held accountable at a higher rate, even if they're winning games, which was long seen as a cover for any manner of sins. Urban Meyer did not have that cover. If he had, it's hard to say whether Shad Khan still would have fired him. Probably not. Say with the knowledge that we have today in safe sport, we know that the approach of the past may have not obtained the best out of people, and that this process of rethinking our approach, there will be this transaction period, said George Washington University law professor Ellen Zavian, who serves as a trustee for Safe Sport International, who previously worked with the NFL and the NFLPA. I believe we're in transition period with coaches being part of the older approach and the youth being part of the newer approach. Until we make this transition, we're going to have a bumpy road. Yeah, you are, because you have to adjust to the youth. I mean, they're the athletes. The youth they're the athletes. So you're going to have to adjust to what they're like today. You can't coach them like you coach players of old. You can't Denzel Washington them and remember the Titans when they asked for water. He said, water? Water is for washing blood off my uniforms. You don't get no blood on my uniforms. No, you can't do that anymore today. See, Lambo's lawsuit is certainly a bump in the road to a different style of coaching becoming more mainstream, one that doesn't involve kicking kickers and cussing them out in practice. Meyer's abject failure with the Jags is perhaps a signpost for the more traditional coaching style growing unsuccessful in developing talent. He wasn't respected by his assistants or his players due to his semi-fascist approach to the job, an approach that he had clearly worked for in the past, which seems to have now run its course. But so I just want to give you the gist of that. But man, I gotta know, when this first came out, what was your thoughts about this?
Well, you're talking about. Well, let me kind of summarize this a little bit, man. First of
Mm-hmm.
all, I think the lawsuit is ridiculous, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, emotional distress.
Yeah,
Um,
couldn't
he's
sleep,
trying to get
eat.
back his $3.5 million. The big problem I got with this, Brandon, and not let's get this straight. That Urban Meyer, I mean, this stuff being is starting to shake out even more about just how bad this guy was as a coach from a lot of perspectives. Lied
Yeah,
to players, throw his assistants under the bus. A lot of stuff we already know. But it's just revealed, when you hear a head coach. I mean, we went to the rookie mini camp, and Doug Peterson went on the icing show, like I think 2 days before the rookie mini camp. And for a head coach to say that his team basically has to heal from all of the missteps, lied to, break of trust, lack of communication, all the things that went into that season with this Urban Meyer. And literally, this coach, he done gathered his information. He done spoke to the players, and he's basically saying right now in May that my team needs time to heal, and I got to be transparent. I got to have an open line of communication.
Mm-hmm.
I got to do everything possible to make sure that the trust is not broken. And here's a coach who just was hired in February. The thing I don't like about Lambo is this, man. Lambo could have went to the Players Association and allowed the Players Association to act on this without the lawsuit and publicity. I think right now is more publicity than anything else on his part.
Yeah.
He's not going to get back $3.5 million through a court system when they already got the NFL has a system already in place that if a player has an issue with the organization, a coach, they already have that where you file a grievance with the league so the Players Association can do their due diligence to take action against the organization and the coach. It already done happened with the Jaguars. When
Yeah.
Tom Coughlin was fining players excessively, then
Yes.
these Jaguar players was sending grievances into the player association, and the number of grievances was more than almost double than any other team in the league based on that alone. So emotional distress. I mean, come on, man. This is football. This is not a 9 to
Yeah.
5 where you work in the office downtown and you got a bad boss. Football is if you're not producing, the coach can't say in your face either you gonna get it or we're gonna get somebody else. That's not emotional distress in far as the NFL football.
Yeah.
But just the fact that I hate to see, as bad as 21 was, still trickle down to what this new coach trying to do with this team. I mean, he still got to deal with the fallout from last season with this knucklehead as a coach. This is Urban Meyer and all his misdeeds and all the other stuff that happened. And this coach has to deal with stuff like that right now today, you know. And Lambo, for Lambo, I say this, man.
Yeah.
You probably have cost yourself your career in the
Yeah.
NFL.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
basically, with the lawsuit and the streams that he's taken, it's one thing to go to the Tampa Bay Times because and have disclose your stuff through your lawyer and your agent, and there's another thing to make a lawsuit that's basically, I feel, don't have merits that's going to stick. And I don't think this lawsuit is gonna get extended to where Urban Meyer or somebody from the Jaguars is gonna be on the stand and testify. But
Yeah.
I just think that at this point for Josh, the guy is gone. The franchise has moved on. I don't think there's no way possible he's going to collect on his salary from last season. And I think at this point, man, it's time to move on. That's what I think it is. It's time to
Yeah.
cut the cord, move on, like the Jaguars have moved on, basically. We know how
Yeah,
bad Urban Meyer was. To me, it's almost like a non-story now. I
yeah.
do think it was a story this past week that the um, Doug Peterson said that his team needs to heal. I think that was a major thing for a coach to say about his team.
It is, and I hadn't even, I may have heard that. I can't remember, but hadn't even realized that he had said that. For him
Yeah,
to have said that,
yeah, that the
that's
team
major.
got to heal. And then I talked to Shaq Griffin and and Shaq was saying like, you know, I love this new coaching staff. You know, they don't treat us like little kids. They treat us like grown men. And that's very revealing, man.
Yeah,
When those guys, the one thing I noticed during the rookie mini camp is that Doug Peterson don't thirst for the spotlight. He's a head
yeah,
coach, I was just watching him, he ain't trying to do stuff to get in front of Channel 4 camera. He's not yanking the jersey of a player like he did one morning when we were all standing out there and he got DJ and he yanking his jersey so he can get off press coverage. He's not doing that. He's what I saw on the field
mhm,
is that he watches everything like a head coach supposed to. He encouraged like a head coach supposed to do, but
yeah,
he allows his assistants to coach, which is why he hired them, you know. And
yeah,
he looks the part as a real head coach, and he's got real head assistant NFL experienced coaches. With Urban was a show for the
yeah,
media, show for just everything centered around this guy because he was given too much power, and he couldn't coach NFL players. And I know we done had 100 conversations about Urban Meyer since December when he got
yeah,
fired. But this guy, I mean, just the stories and just and I'm still shocked to be honest, to be around the team, to be around players, and none of these guys would come out publicly to say when they're being asked what's going on around here. What's the deal, man? It just seems like everything seems like it's you didn't have a problem with the coach not going back with the team. No, we don't watch that kind of stuff. That's what
yeah,
they were saying publicly, but behind the door, when the door closed, they're saying everything like, man, how can this guy not be on the plane? And we just lost a game on national television, and this
yeah.
joke don't even care enough to be on the plane with us. How the hell can he coach us?
Right,
And that's
man.
what players are saying. I hear conversations on the field this week. No names need to be said, but there's staff members from the Jaguars. I overheard conversation. Oh, it's so
Mhm.
pleasant to be back with football. It's just so pleasant to come to work.
It's just football, man. Man, so it just sounds like it was an incredibly toxic environment. I mean,
Toxic.
thank you, Josh, for sending me the story. So I'm gonna read a little bit of this story. Say Doug Peterson healing from toxic urban Meyer key for Jaguars moving forward. Let me get a few of these comments. Say all of us Jags fans have emotional distress from watching the product they've been putting out there. Yeah, I should sue too. Thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
We need to do a class action suit because we've been subjected to the seasons that they put together in the last 13 years. Absolutely awful. They've averaged what 3.5 wins, 4 wins at best. Come on,
Yeah.
man.
10 losing
Just don't-
seasons in 11 years. Ain't that emotional
Yeah,
distress?
yeah, man. What's
That
going
should be
on,
a
Pastor
class
Palmer?
action lawsuit, man.
We got Pastor Palmer in the house. What's going on, man? I'm
What's
gonna give you a
happening?
call, man. We got to talk to you. I ain't talked to him in. Talk to him in a minute. He said, "Any thoughts on Matthew Wright release?" Yeah. What did you? I saw that, and I seen something where they were saying how he couldn't kick off, and they didn't want to have Logan kicking off because they wanted to save his leg. So that was one of the reasons for his release.
Well, I'm a little puzzled by that release. Here's a guy that won, help you win the first game of the season. He was
Yeah,
4 of 6 on field goals, 50 yards and beyond, plus 50 yards. But
yeah,
it is what it is, man. It is the fact that I would think that maybe Doug want his own person. You
yeah.
know,
That's what I thought. Yeah,
I think they
yeah,
got a guy as an undrafted free agent who's actually probably going to be the kicker. And one thing that Doug did say is that they wasn't that impressed with the fact that he didn't have a strong enough leg on the kickoff. So it is what it is. I
yeah,
just hope it don't be a situation where they're playing musical chairs with the kicking
yeah,
situation.
yeah. I hope not. I hope not because he brought some stability because he can make kicks, and now you get in a situation where you bring this kid in, and let's say this kid get hurt, and now you're once again you're back to playing musical chairs until you find somebody. Yeah, they had to play musical chairs till they found Matthew Wright.
Yeah. But another thing, Brandon, I see already, and Doug, I like a coach who is transparent, man. I like
Mm-hmm.
a coach who said, hey, we're going to have this fixed, but it's going to take time for us to fix it. I like a coach who went out, I mean, he didn't have to tell us the fact that the team need healing. And, that I got to be judged on my transparency. But it's a telling sign that how bad Urban Meyer was when this head coach has to say that I have to have an open line of communication with these players. I have to be transparent. I have to tell them the truth. I can't tell them a bag of biscuits in May, then come to
Yeah,
training camp, and everything I said in May, I'm totally opposite from what I said. And all this stuff went on, man. All the stuff that went on, the mistrust, the lying, to treating these guys like I mean that the quote from Shaq Griffin is revealing. Like we're glad that we've got a staff that treat us like grown men. I
yeah,
mean, you
yeah,
expect for them to be treated like grown men if they're in the NFL, right? You
yeah,
know, you
yeah.
expect
I just
a
expect that.
practice to be conducted NFL like not like winners or losers day,
Yes.
or you got a guy on the intercom, water break, hydrate, like you don't know to get a swig of water.
Mm-hmm.
It's,
Yeah, yeah. Because it's like, do I play for the Jaguars or do I play for roast beef Tech?
yeah,
You
or
know.
I play for the Forest View, whatever. I mean, even Pop Warner, the kids know when they need a water break.
Sure. Oh, sure. Or hey, am I playing the NFL? Am I playing for the Sharks? Come on, man. If I'm playing
Yeah,
arena football, is this Canadian football? Is this the indoor football league? No, it's the NFL. But they are ridiculously toxic environment from Urban Meyer. And Shad Khan blasted him. I was like, I was shocked it took him so long to blast him, but he did. He eventually did. But he has nobody to blame but himself in the situation. So it is
you're
what
right.
it is.
You're right, Brandon. That's the thing is, yeah, you blast them, but you also the guy who hired them in
You're
the
the
first
guy.
place,
Yeah,
who was
you're the
not
guy. You
ready
did it.
for the NFL, and you hired him anyway based on what he did at Ohio State and didn't do your homework. So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll take your blast, but we also want you a rebuttal to say I apologize to the fan base for hiring this guy and bringing in this maniac.
Yes.
Because that's
Yes.
basically what it was, a maniac with power.
Because Urban Meyer showed me, and I'm gonna get into this article a little bit. Urban Meyer showed me. I thought that being a Jaguars fan, the current state the franchise was in, I didn't think it could get any worse. Urban Meyer showed us it can be a lot worse.
Well,
It's amazing.
worse is when you don't have professionalism. And I think that was the problem.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't
Mm-hmm.
have professionalism. Compassion. He didn't have he didn't have those players' best interests in heart. And they're not gonna break down a door to win for you when you mistreating them. I just
Yeah.
hate this fact, man, that Trevor Lawrence basically is a rookie again. I
Again.
think he lost. I think that was a lost season. You
Yeah.
know, they got to put the training wheels back on Trevor, and basically he got to learn a new system. He's got to learn how to be a pro. He got to learn everything he didn't learn last season from a NFL experienced staff. So he lost
Yes,
a
he
year,
does.
and he can't lose any more years, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Can't lose any more years.
for some reason today, I had a little time on my hand. I got this NFL app, so I went back and I watched. I don't know, probably about 3/4 of the Jaguars Houston game of the opener.
Mm-hmm.
And man, let me tell you something, boy. You talking about bad viewing? It's just amazing to me how badly prepared, and actually how bad Trevor Lawrence was in that game.
Yeah.
You know, I watched
Yeah.
Miles Jack a couple of times. I said, Lord have mercy. I think Devin Lloyd would never make the mistakes, and even he's a rookie that Miles Jack made in that game.
Yeah.
And they just can't they can't go back to that, man. It's one
No.
thing
No,
to
you can't.
lose. It's one thing to lose. It's another thing to just mistake here, mistake there, can't line up right, can't I mean, interception here. You know, I watched a
Yeah.
play where
How many illegal formation penalties they had? I know they had at least 3 or 4 in that game.
yeah, I think they had like 3 in the first half.
Mm.
You know, you couldn't line up on offense. I mean, there was one where speaking of that, where DJ Chalk got that penalty for because he didn't line up on the line. He lined up wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
The wide
Yeah.
receiver.
I know
And
Manhurts had at least 2 of them.
yeah. And
Yeah.
it's like, man, I saw a play where with cornerback CJ Henderson never looked up
Oh,
for the ball.
yeah.
It's just like a
Yeah.
guy on his outside shoulder. He running the route on his outside shoulder, and he never looks to locate him or the ball. The guy just catches the ball, and he just happened to push him out of bounds. It just those, whew, that was an ugly game, man.
Yeah. Shoot, speaking of which, shoot, that game versus the last game with the Colts, 2 totally different teams.
Yeah, yeah, you're
Two
right.
totally different teams. Trevor looked calm under pressure. The defense played well. I mean, just everything looked correct.
Yeah,
Reverses what we had in the beginning of the season, man. Just oh my god. And then we couldn't anything good start going. Penalties,
yeah,
penalties, 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 penalties. Yeah, you say I was at the Texans opener. Cam and DJ both got called for illegal formation. Yeah, I know. I know it was a bunch of them. It was
yeah.
a bunch of those in that game. It was absolutely ridiculous.
I know that. I know DJ was in the first half. I mean, it's just like,
Yeah.
they're like, how do you be a receiver, man, and can't line? Just tell me, how can you not line up right? I mean, how?
How?
And then I watched LaVisca. I watched a couple of his catches. Everything inside, you know. I know the slot guy or what, but they never ran him on the outside to use his speed already. He's on the outside to catch the pass, run outside, run the route outside. They didn't have no routes with him. Everything was inside the coverage. I'm like, come on, man. You think if he's big and strong and he got one guy to beat on the outside, then you can utilize him more that way. You know, he break a tackle, you go
Yeah.
outside to score. You don't go inside the coverage and the safety's sitting there waiting on you. And I'm like, come on, man. This is like this is the Marquise Lee offense. It's like every time I used to watch Marquise Lee, always slants inside. I mean, what's the point? You know, I love
Oh
first
man.
downs. I love first downs, but I like touchdowns. You know,
Yeah.
so basically, you putting them in a route where the only thing you want out of them is a first down. You don't want touchdowns. I was like, man, come on, man, run the guy outside. You
Yeah.
know,
Marquise Lee, the albino tiger, man. I had high hopes of Marquise Lee, man. Oh my god.
You talking about emotional distress, man. I'm telling you what, even for a sports ride, and I watch this crap for free, man. I might need to get me a lawsuit and file for emotional distress.
Oh my God! Right.
Woo, Lord.
Emotional distress. Well, let's see. Doug Peterson is rebuilding more than just a roster on the Jaguars, fresh off the most dysfunctional and toxic season. I like those words. Most dysfunctional and toxic season in the franchise's 27-year history. The Jaguars are counting on Peterson to reshape the trajectory of the team. The stain of ex-coach Urban Meyer's disastrous 13-game tenure with the team remains a topic around TIAA Bank Field because transgressions continue to pop up. This week, former Jaguars kicker Josh Lambo sued the team, saying that Meyer created a hostile work environment and that he was released from his job with the team for speaking up about Meyer kicking before a preseason game. Meyer's toxicity ran deep, and he clearly lost the trust of not only owner Shad Khan, but the entire locker room, too. That's left a messier than normal cleanup to Peterson and his staff. It's clear that the residue from Meyer's time in Jacksonville was more than just a typical coaching transition. He says, I do believe there has to be some kind of healing with the situation and everything that transpired last year because there's a lack of trust that was broke, I think. For me, it's about gaining the trust back, and they have to see it through me, Peterson said on Friday. They have to see the transparency, the honesty. I've always said I'm going to be open with them, and I want them to be open with me. It just comes down to communication and having an open line of communication. We've been able to have some conversations that way in team settings, and I think the guys have really embraced it and are doing well. Culture change aside, the Jaguars have made significant changes in personnel too. The rookie class, which opened minicamp this week, expects new starters at linebacker, Chad Muma and Devin Lloyd, and edge rusher, number one pick overall, Trayvon Walker. Yo, I've seen the videos of Trayvon Walker. That is a massive human being. I mean, he made one of his coaches, one of the position coaches, look like a dwarf. That's a big guy. And then Devin Lloyd standing next to him, he doesn't dwarf Devin Lloyd. And Devin Lloyd is 6'3", 235, but Devin looks big. He doesn't look small. He said Walker was elated to get past draft season and get on the field for the first time on Friday. Okay, so they're talking about the rookies. Let's say Peterson has expectations somewhat tempered right now. Said that the staff is only looking for incremental progress. Obviously, today's day one, so let's see what he learned from the classroom, and let's make that judgment tomorrow. Let's make another judgment on Sunday. Say, listen, this is still the offseason, and the roster's not set for anything like that, so we just want to see gradual improvement every day, whether it's in the drill work or in the team setting. That's what you look for in these young guys right now. Just see how they're really fitting in, and then how they interact with the veterans when we get the vets in here next week and make our evaluations that way. So already they're speaking in a way that you spoke about the prior staff, Mr. Reid, if you noticed that in what he said. He said we're looking for incremental progress every day, and we're continuously working on it. You brought up many times how the prior staff talked about that, but you said you didn't see them doing it.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll say this, man. I don't usually agree with Trent Baalke, but from seeing this kid with my own eyes,
Trayvon?
I think Trayvon is a real deal, man.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I can see that you know, we can't tell if he's instinctive and those kind of things, but it's going to be hard to block this kid. He's playing outside linebacker, which gives him flexibility that he can play. He can play on either side.
Yeah.
He can line up at the line of scrimmage. And there was a play, I want to say Friday, where he dropped back in coverage. And this kid they got from Brown University, E.J. Perry, the quarterback.
Yeah, my brother was asking me about him today.
Well, he was absolutely horrible for the 2 days I saw.
Well, hey, Kobe, that's your answer right there.
You want it straight? I'll tell you straight. He looked horrible. He was aiming throws. I think it's just rookie jitters, trying to make an impression, trying to do something to jump off the page as an undrafted kid. But he was telegraphing passes. He was aiming throws. He was throwing behind receivers. But on this play, he was basically about to check down to a running back, and And Trayvon Walker dropped back in coverage, and his makeup speed was like track speed.
Yeah.
Because he went from about 6 yards right up on this running back, and it took him about a second. And he came up so quick that Perry just he said, forget the check down. I'll just throw it long. But if they were in pads, he would have he might have would have put the running back in the hospital. Man, this kid, man, his arm, his wings. I mean, what jumps off the page for me about Trayvon Walker, his wingspan is just huge. He got calves like, and then it just,
Yeah.
I mean, to me, he looks like an NBA power forward with strength, and it's going to be hard for, people don't talk about it, but look, if you put him on the same, you can actually put him on the same side as just say they play him on the same side on a third down play with Josh Allen, and you got both those guys coming off the edge on the same side.
Yeah.
Hey, he looks every bit like the guy that ran a 4.5 140.
Yeah.
34-inch long, 34-inch arm length. He looks like a specimen, man, that just belongs on the football field. And he looks twice as big to me than Josh Allen does. I mean, he looks huge, man, and he just just to see it. I mean, to me, he looked like a defensive tackle. He's big as a defensive tackle, but runs like a defensive back. And just to see a big guy on the field, especially drop back in coverage, make a quick step to come back into, like, his closing speed was like, man, it was like it was a dash. And just to see that guy, I mean, this guy, when he got on that running back, he just towered over him. And I said, good Lord, I'm sold, man. Shit. I saw Aiden Hutchinson in the NFL Combine, and Aiden Hutchinson don't look anything like this kid.
Yeah, I'm trying to find. I'm searching for the picture now. Somebody put up a tweet, and both of them in their pads for the first time, and they were like, "Yo, Aiden Hutchinson looked like a frat boy, and Trayvon Walker looked like a monster."
Man, this dude, to me, he looked like a grown man. He looked like he can go out right now, tomorrow, and start and won't have not a problem. It's going to be hard for a left tackle or anybody to block this kid out of a play. And I'm just basing it on what I saw. I saw him knock the hell out of the dummies. Look here, I do pay attention to a lot of things. I pay attention to force, when you go up and hit the dummy and how much force behind it. I ain't never seen a dummy fly up as high as that was flying up the other day, where he was pushing the dummy up, man. It's going up about 10 feet up in the air. And when he hit it, he was hitting it. I done seen linemen. I ain't seen anybody on a Jaguar uniform since I've been covering the team to hit that thing like he was hitting it.
Yeah. From everything that I've seen,
I'm one of the best critics. I don't foresee anything gonna stop this kid from not being a good player. The only thing I can see, if he's not instinct, you can't visualize instinctiveness because they don't have pads on. But I can't, from what I've seen in 2 days, I don't see anything that's not going to make this kid not be a superstar. And what we're going to be saying, I'm going to make this prediction. What we're going to be saying after week 6 of the season is, why in the hell did Georgia not play this kid, not just have him to go out and attack the quarterback and play him in a way, because I think he could have been the stud of the defense from what I see. I think Georgia didn't play him in the right way.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
But
Yeah.
this
Yeah. For the
dude, this dude is
position
a
they
stud,
gave him.
man. He's
Yeah.
I cannot see any way that this kid is not gonna be a superstar.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're gonna block him. To be honest, he's too big and too quick. He's like a six. He's a 6'5", 275 that look like a frame can put on 30, 40 pounds and you won't even notice it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at his let's see, let me pull this one back up. Him standing next to Shad Khan, and he doesn't look 270 at all.
Yeah.
Like
He look like he can
he
put on
doesn't.
30, 40 pounds. It wasn't even, he can put on 300 pounds and he'll still look the way he does at 270.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he has a frame that you can build on. And I was looking for the video, man, of him working out. But this right here, this is the photo. Look at that right there. I never seen 270 look like that.
Yeah. I tell you,
Look at that.
he looks like a power forward. He looks like an NBA player with
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I
This,
think Jacks, they rolled the dice. I think they got a hell of a ball player in this kid. Only thing I can foresee if he's not instinctive, like getting off the block and getting in, putting himself in position to make plays. But it,
yeah,
from what I see, I don't think that's gonna be an issue.
yeah,
But I think they got a great player, man. This kid, and another thing I like about him is he was asked, man, have you spent anything on your money? He's got like, I don't know what his sign. He's got a upfront signing bonus like $24 million. And Trayvon said, I ain't had time to even think about that. And they say like, well, what do you do outside of football? And he said, pretty much that's all I do. I mean, he's a small town kid from Georgia. And the only thing this dude do is play football. Ain't no, if you see him anywhere, you might see him at the L House. Or he just seemed like a guy that he'll be at a sports bar watching football. But that's it. His whole life is around football. So
yeah.
hey, this when he came, even Trevor Lawrence, I can go back to last year. After the day he was drafted, Trevor Lawrence had on a teal suit, looked daffy, but looked like $1 million the day after he got
Yeah.
drafted. This kid came on the day after the draft. Pull that photo back up. Pull
Okay.
that photo back up that you had him standing next to the owner.
Okay. Let me pull it back up. Because I'm still looking. I'm looking for this video, man. It's a picture of him and Pats, and y'all got to see this picture of him and Pats. Hold on, I got it right here. Share it back up. There we go.
This is what he wore the day after he got drafted for the news conference. Sweatsuit, tennis shoes. Man, hey, I know a football player when I see it. This dude ain't interested in no gold chains. He ain't interested in no sunshades. He just
Mm-hmm.
want to knock hell out of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Yeah. They
kid
say he.
is a football player, man. And I go on
Yeah.
record on that one. They got a football player in this kid.
Yeah. They say he's one of those kids where from what I hear they describe in his tenacity and nastiness. They say when he's coming with bad intentions. It's
And
nothing
then
nice.
it's no sir, yes ma'am. I mean, there was
Mm-hmm.
a little lady was giving the players water, and this guy told her like, "Thank you, ma'am." What NFL player does that? They just take the swig of water and hand it back and move on. He had enough to say, "Thank you, ma'am." I mean, they got a good one in this guy. I don't give Trent Baalke credit a lot, but they might have struck gold with Trayvon Walker, man. From what I see,
Yeah.
they got a player,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, and same with him, Devin Lloyd, and
Yeah,
let's see, Chris asked, well, not Chris, but Josh. He asked about Trey Smith.
yeah.
Jimmy Smith was Jimmy Smith the third. Yeah, so Trey. Yeah, Jimmy Smith the third. So, any thoughts on him?
Well, I got to think on Tribe, man. When he get his contract, I mean, I've seen a little bit of him,
Hmm.
kind of quick feet, but I don't know. He might have a long ways to go.
Yeah, to make this roster.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, because he'll have to beat out to want to make this roster. He'll have to beat out Chenault.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because I think because
But
Marvin
the
Jones is
main
set.
thing for him is the biggest goal right now, the objective for him to do is just get the invitation to the training camp. If
Yeah,
he can get past this and get in the training camp, then it's a story to be told with that. But he's a big.
yeah.
I mean, he doesn't look like Jimmy. He's not as tall as Jimmy.
Hmm.
Uh, he looks quick though. He got some speed, quick feet, and but it's hard, man. Yeah, no, yeah,
Yeah,
no,
no
no
Dante
Fowler,
Fowler.
man. No Dante Fowler, man. No Dante. None of
Hmm.
that. I really, man, I don't, me, Brandon. I don't.
Oh, he's running back. I don't know why I thought he was a wide receiver.
Yeah, he's a running back.
Okay.
I don't. I don't brag about guys, especially rookie mini camp, especially seeing a bunch of bad players that these guys undrafted, taking a
Hmm.
chance on a guy who really didn't, as the story is, he never made all SEC, never was an All American, first number one overall pick in the modern era of the NFL, to not be either one of those selections. But man, you
Yeah,
you can't coach you can't coach athleticism. It's a natural, born with it. You can't coach size. He was born with the size, and you can't. I mean, this kid is a football player, man. He don't have to be told to go hard in practice. You know.
yeah. See, look at that right there.
Yeah.
That's a big dude.
Look at them arms, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If he got to scratch his knee, I mean, a slight bend, barely.
Yeah. It's gonna be
Man,
hard, man. I don't care who it is. If there's some great offensive linemen in this league, he is gonna be a hard guy to block out of a play. Believe me.
mm,
And when
yeah,
you talking about Mike Caldwell defense, where they're gonna move him all around the field, whether he play outside linebacker, edge rush, or whatever, he's gonna be everywhere on the field. And I'll say this, he got the same number as Miles Jack. I don't know, boy. I don't think people are gonna be talking much about Miles Jack. The one thing
yeah,
I know, and I say this, not toot my own horn, I know talent when I see talent. I'm talking about special talent. I ain't talking about, oh, well, man, he looks good today, but I don't know what he going to be Thursday. This dude got some skill sets, man, and some size and stuff that just,
yeah,
man, when you got that type of athleticism, the only thing the saving grace is that he don't get hurt. But, man,
yeah,
that dude look everything like a star. And they might have found one. They need one.
yeah, yeah. They do. Josh Stewart say, "Did you see Jordan Davis standing next to Fletcher Cox?" Josh, I did see that, and it's amazing. Georgia had both of these guys on the defensive line. They were supposed to win a national title. I mean, they would have lost if Jamison Williams and Mechie was healthy, because we know that because they couldn't cover those guys. But as far as that front seven, dude, look at that.
Look
Fletcher
at
Cox is not a
that.
small man at all.
Yeah, look at that, man.
Yeah, you got Trayvon Walker and you got this guy right next to him. What are you supposed to do?
And I'm almost to the point. How in the world did they lose any games?
Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah, but it's
I'm
the
literally.
DBs.
How do they lose any game with those guys?
Yeah,
See how
those
big
DBs
that guy
though.
is, man. Who the
Yeah.
hell gonna block that?
Mm. It's them DBs though. Those DBs because they got exposed. They can get really cooked. Yeah,
Yeah,
because once Jameson Williams and Mechie was gone, they were good, but they couldn't cover those guys, man.
yeah,
But yeah, that's just big right there.
yeah, yeah. You right about that, boy. They would have. You know, Alabama is what they are, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. As y'all know,
Yeah, you
Alabama
got that
is
Crimson Tide head on, but boy, I'll tell you what, man, they'll find a
yeah.
way. If
They will find a way.
if the wide receiver didn't get hurt, I don't know if Georgia would have won it.
Yeah, I don't think Georgia would have won it. But let's see what. Oh, okay, I only got a few more, two more, and then we're gonna get on up out of here because we had 150. We had 2 hours. See, I went past the limit. It's all good though. I said, oh yeah, they had Wyatt too. Yeah, dude, that Georgia defense. They're gonna talk about that defense for a long time because it was full of stars, man. And the way you said that you think they misused Trayvon, or maybe not necessarily misused them, but put him in a role where they thought was best for the entire defense.
Yeah,
Maybe I guess.
I think if they just would have just said, "You just go get the quarterback," I think this kid probably could have had a whole lot more sacks.
I
But
think so too.
another thing is too, though, man. When you got talent like Georgia had on the defense, you don't need a 10 sack guy. You know, you got blended talent. You just want to win when you got that kind of talent. So I think he got overshadowed too. But you know that when you look where they got 15 guys that was drafted total, 5 in the first round, and man, it just shows that they. And when you look at that picture, he's standing next to Fletcher Cox. I mean, that's a lot of talent to assemble for a college team, and everybody
Yeah.
playing their roles. And you know, and sometimes it's hard to shine when you got all that talent on one unit.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
I I think I already like some things. I mean, I think that putting Trevon Walker at outside linebacker gives him an opportunity to be a superstar instead of lining them up as a hand on the ground defensive end. I
Hmm.
think playing him at outside linebacker gives him utilize his talent a little more. That he can get on the outside, he can play up on the line as an edge rusher. You can flip him on either side, whatever the defensive call, and he can drop back in coverage. He's fast enough; he can drop back in coverage. He can cover tight ends and running back without a
Yes.
question from what I see.
Yeah.
Especially at a 4.5 5 1 40.
Yep.
They
I've
ain't
seen
had
him make
no
plays in coverage. Yeah. Make
they ain't had no
instinctive.
linebackers. I don't even think Miles Jack run a full. What do you think Miles Jack 40 time was?
He's got to be. I know he's got to be. He's higher than a 4.5. I know he was up there. What? Let me see. Let's see. Miles Jack. What was his 40 at the con? Because I don't know if he ran at the combine.
Yeah, he was injured, right?
I think he was injured.
Yeah, I think he was.
Yeah, I think he was injured. Yeah. Oh, 4.57 according to the results of these graphics. Miles J. Oh, his pro day. So he ran a 4.57 at his pro day.
That tells you a lot right there. And Miles
That
Jack
tells you a lot.
ain't 270.
He ain't 270. He 235, 240 at the most.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So 4.51 for a guy of that
I thought he
size.
was faster than that.
And another thing you got to look at when a guy that big can run a 4.51. Just
Mhm.
imagine what his impact can be when he's tackling you when he's in pursuit.
Yeah, yeah. And then when you saying that, that reminds me of when Calais got here, and
Mm-hmm.
Calais just wrecked offensive lines game in and game out at that defensive end spot, and they were like, did the Cardinals mess up his potential Hall of Fame career by the way they used him early in his career? because the Cardinals didn't use Calais the way the Jaguars
No,
used
no,
Calais.
you're right.
Had Calais been used like the Jaguars used him from the start, we could be talking about a 150, 160 sack guy. I think he's at 93 right now. He's 7 off 100. But he
Yeah,
definitely have over 130, 140 sacks had he played that position all his career.
you're right. And a lot of times, Arizona had him playing as like an inside rusher.
Yeah, he played defensive
Yeah.
tackle most of the time.
Yeah. So it is. It counts on where how you utilize your talent, man, and how what do you want to get from it? Do you want to plug Henry versus Walker?
Yeah, hey Josh, that's gonna be a nice matchup right there.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see. That.
Well, put it this way: he won't need help bringing Henry down. I can assure you that now. I don't know how many times they're gonna connect, but I tell you what, he don't need any help to bring him down. He big enough he a big enough boy
Yeah,
to bring him down.
yeah, yeah. I watched him, damn near decapitate one of the Michigan's linemen. I mean, this is an offensive lineman. He blasted the dude. It's a graphic on Twitter where after he blasts him, they show where you do fatal hits on Mortal Kombat, and they show the skeleton, and they'll see the bone break or the skull crack. And then when he hit the Michigan lineman, they did a little graphic where the skull cracks. And I said, yeah, that's exactly what that hit looked like. Looked like he straight up rung his bell.
Yeah, ringing the bell.
Yeah. But yeah,
Oh,
so
Trey.
I seen this story too, Josh. Yeah, Drew Brees is supposedly NBC has parted ways with him because
Already?
already because they say supposedly they thought they were getting a Tony Romo, but they got somebody who's probably right above Jason Witten. You know, Drew wasn't terrible, but he didn't stand out. He didn't
He's too
stand out. He did,
scripted, man. He's a
yeah,
scripted guy. He's
yeah,
too scripted.
yeah.
It
So I
is
was
what
surprised.
he's gonna give you what you got, but he's not, you know, he's not insightful. He's a scripted guy.
Yeah, because he out of all the broadcasts I watch, I don't remember, he's not memorable. You know,
Yeah.
you let Rodney Harrison walk, but Rodney Harrison is memorable. Rodney
Yeah.
Harrison was really good. You know, so but now he's contemplating playing football again, and
No.
of course going in the booth and playing and talking with Fox is one of his options of being in the booth at Fox. If he don't do that, then he may play again. But dude,
Wait for who?
play for who? Who?
Who?
Who's going to sign up for that? I'm
He
not
going
signing
back
up
to
for
the
Drew
Saints?
Brees.
Or what is he gonna do? That's
I'm not
that's
signing up, dude.
Jameis' team now, man. I just wish the guy. Come on, man. We don't.
But even with the team and it being, he's cooked. He's done. It's
Yeah.
over for him, man. He
He
can't throw
don't have
over
the
30
arm
yards.
strength. He don't have the arm strength no more. It ain't like
Yeah,
Tom Brady. Tom can throw the ball 60 yards downfield.
yeah. Yeah. So, oh yeah, Brady signed a huge deal, 375 million already. Soon as he done playing, he going straight to the booth for Fox. I saw that, but um, I don't know. I don't know about Brady either. I think Brady could be good, and he already has a huge base to where people are going to tune in. But I don't know. We'll see. He has some personality because the people are comparing it to Joe Montana, where they thought Joe Montana was going to be great like that, and he wasn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Brady's he can't be great at everything, but I don't know. I mean, I would like to see, but that's a lot of money to find out if he's going to be good or not. I'm just saying that's a lot of
Yeah,
money.
that's a lot of money not to know. And I mean, his name carries a whole lot of weight. Now, obviously, what he's done, he's like he is a goat. Ain't no question about that.
Yeah,
And was it just money to make sure that to keep him from someone else signing him? I don't know. He does have personality though, and that helps.
yeah, yeah. It does help. I seen the video he did. He say Brees gonna be a coach, gonna be with the Colts next year. They I think they was doing some challenge, and Justin Bieber was like He say, tell us something that nobody else knows, or something that a thought that may get you canceled, or something like that, something that you shouldn't say. And it cut to Brady. He's like, that may have been a fumble against the Oakland Raiders. Yes, we know it was a fumble, Brady. Thank you for telling. The Raiders fans will live it. It's like, of course, we already knew that that was a fumble. Talking about the tuck rule. Yes, Brady, we knew that was a fumble. You got saved by the tuck rule. See, yeah, Brees gonna be with the Colts next year. Yeah, that would be on brand for the Colts. Because, dude, that'll be what, 4 straight seasons with a different
Yeah,
quarterback?
yeah, 4 straight.
Yeah,
I don't think Matt Ryan is the answer either because he can't get off.
I don't think so either.
He's like a sitting duck in the pocket.
Yeah, send the blocks for feet. Hey, Booger McFarland, who Booger wasn't too bad. I like Booger. He's not good for calling games, but he's good on the network, and he always has some good sayings. He's like an iron deer on the lawn. He can't move.
But it's our ESPN fault that it didn't work out, man. You know they used to have these guys in like a doggone mobile car unit. They used to
Yeah,
look like they were sitting in a car on the sideline.
yeah, that was so stupid. I saw that, man. I was like, what's the purpose of this? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, man.
No,
I said, wait a minute now. What are they on? What is that? I mean,
I
you
mean,
can't have a set.
sometimes you can out strategize yourself. That's like having The Rock introduce the teams at the Super Bowl. Could you please get Dwayne Johnson off the field so we can play football? I don't want to see him and them over pumped up muscles. No, I'm fine. And him raising eyebrow and The Rock and come on, man, we playing
And
football.
this is
Taste
what
the
I'm
football
saying,
over.
Brandon. NFL man is going to Hollywood for me, man.
Yeah,
Because
come on, man.
that schedule, man. I, I why do you need a show for a schedule release? Not just the show.
They
Why do you have to
grossing for
have
it.
from 8 till 11 o'clock
Yes,
to give me the schedule that take like a
yes,
minute? I say,
yes.
Lord, can you
Just
stop?
post it.
Just post it. Yeah, it's like, do
Uh,
everything need to be on the stage? I mean,
right. Oh, I was gonna bring that up too, Josh. Earl Thomas, they finally caught him. Instead of him turning himself in, they finally caught him because he threatened to supposedly poison his own children
Mm.
and to mess with the brakes on his ex-wife's car while her boyfriend is driving it. Her current boyfriend is driving it, and I'm like, Earl. I mean, him and Richard Sherman, Josh. Richard Sherman just got blasted by his side chick slash mistress, who he had a son with, and now she's blasting him, talking about he don't do nothing for the baby, but he still be rolling through to do stuff with her. And I'm like, well, first of all, ma'am, that's your fault. You knew this was a married man, and you weren't getting what you wanted, but you was still letting him tiptoe through your house. That's your fault. But Richard Sherman, dog, you got to be better than that, man. Come on. That it's just that it's a cautionary tale to young men because Earl Thomas, he's been in football his whole life. Richard Sherman been in football probably his whole life. Systems, order, and structure is what they've had on a day-to-day basis. It's been football, 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 and you were two of the best players at your position. You're a champion, so they may have that, I'm big and bad effect too. And can't nobody do nothing, and can't nobody harm me. I'm the man, and I'm this. Yo, anybody can be touched. Anybody. It don't matter who you are. Floyd Mayweather, he got the money team, all those bodyguards and the bulletproof cars. If somebody want to get him, they can get him. It doesn't matter who you are. Everybody can be touched. But these guys feel like I'm the man. I can't be touched. I do whatever, and it's coming back to bite you. Now, Richard, his career may be over. Earl Thomas' career is definitely over. He's not playing for nobody else. Now, Richard, with this stuff, and they saying that him trying to beat down the door to get to his in-laws, when he got into it with them in the video with him trying to break down the door, his wife supposedly found out about the side child that he had in the situation with this lady.
Mm.
I hate to see greats go out like this. I really do.
Sometimes, man, you got to make sure you don't create your own drama.
Yes, this is their fault.
Let
This is their
TNT
fault.
create the drama, man. Shaq, man, I like to get the audience view. Do you think brothers should wear cowboy hats?
If they're Cowboys, yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean,
Well, I guess he's honoring the Mavericks' victory. He's got a cowboy
Okay.
hat on. He look
Oh,
like
Shaq got the
JR.
cowboy hat on.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
look like JR, man.
Oh yeah, he's
JR
gonna run
Ewing.
it. Yeah. You say he got a hat on right now. Yeah, that's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. Just as long as you don't wear no assless chaps, I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be all right. So he say thoughts on the Jags 22 schedule, and then we're gonna talk about the Raiders. And the Raiders are in some trouble right now. That we're gonna get out of here. Well, what's your thoughts on the current schedule?
Well, I think it's challenging, man. The first month of the season, you got a new staff, and you only play one game in Jacksonville for the whole month of September, so it's challenging. Um, that stretch where they played the Broncos, Kansas City, and the Raiders. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I got a little question about the open date. A lot of times in the past that I guess it doesn't really matter because it didn't help, but you're waiting to play at that open date after
Mm-hmm.
London, and then you come back and play, I believe, the Raiders, and then you go in Kansas City. So, I mean, just when you playing that AFC West, and you got one week you got Patrick Mahomes, and then another week it's just it's. I think that's tough, but I think they got a deep. I can see why they concentrated on the defense, but
Yeah,
I think Washington a winnable game. I mean, I guess everybody want to know how many wins you think they can get. I think that's the most important. I think they can get 7 or maybe even 8 wins out of that schedule.
yeah. I think so too. Let's see. So Scott, that's the preseason,
Yeah,
and oh yeah, we playing in the Hall of Fame game, right?
yeah. August
Yeah,
the 4th.
yeah. So we're gonna play the Raiders in the Hall of Fame game. You got Cleveland, Pittsburgh, and Atlanta. So yeah, so you got at Washington. The Colts come here, so I could see. I mean, you could essentially start off 2-0 because the
Yeah, yeah,
Colts
yeah, yeah.
struggle here. So in Washington, I don't know what Washington is going to be, but you could definitely start 2-0. But then it gets hairy after that because
Yeah.
at Chargers, at Philly, Houston has always been a thorn in our side, and then you got at the Colts, which you don't win at the Colts very often. So
Mm-hmm.
after your first 2 games, this stretch right here is a tough stretch.
Yeah. That Philly game was gonna be hard, man. Philly upgraded, especially
Philly,
at receiver. They
and
got
they
some good
knocked the
receivers.
draft out the park.
Yeah, they did.
You see, so
But
week
this stretch
7.
here, boy, that's the one that
Oh,
you can.
oh man, look,
Yeah.
New York, Denver, Raiders, and the Chiefs. Yeah, this stretch right here.
So you got Russell Wilson. You got what's my man
Yeah.
in the
Oh,
Raiders?
Russell Wilson, Derek Carr,
Derek
Patrick
Carr,
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
Who they
I'm
got
not, I'm not
after
really
that?
worried about Daniel Jones.
No, no.
Uh,
I think they beat the Giants, so I ain't worried
yeah,
about that. And then you
and then
come back and
you
you
got
got
the bye.
Baltimore.
And then
Then
you
you got
come back. You got Baltimore at Detroit, at the Titans, Dallas, New York, Houston, and then Tennessee.
that's
Wow,
a that's a tough
it's
that's
a
a
tough
tough
schedule.
half stretch there.
Yeah,
Baltimore,
yeah,
you got Lamar Jackson. I don't know
yeah.
how good their offensive line is, and they got some questions on defense, but Lions won't. I mean, that ain't gonna be an easy game.
No, it's not. The Lions played a lot of people tough last year, man.
That
And Tennessee
Cowboys,
is always especially in Tennessee.
yeah,
That's almost a L right
yeah, they
there. I
don't
mean,
they don't win in Tennessee. They better hope they can beat the Jets,
yeah, in
Texans.
yeah.
I don't think
Hold on,
they can.
Didn't we play in New York last year, and they're going right back to New York this
Yeah,
year?
ain't that something? Yeah, they
Yeah,
played there on Christmas Eve, I believe,
yeah.
or the
So
day
I'm thinking,
after Christmas. One of them.
I've never seen that before. Maybe in like the next year, then the New York will come here, but two
Mm-hmm.
straight years. But what they probably going off of it because you play the schedule for wherever you place at. So we're in the last place. We're playing a last place schedule. So the
Mm-hmm.
New York Jets are in last place like us. So okay. But yeah,
Dallas
Houston
game.
at Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Dallas is a playoff team. You got
Well,
to go to New York. You don't win in Houston, and then you got Tennessee. Man,
I wouldn't want
this
to
is
end
gonna
the
be tough.
season on Tennessee, man. Not going. It'd be cold in Tennessee. It could be a whole lot at stake for Tennessee. So that ain't the ideal opponent to close the season. You know, back in 2017, they ended the season at Tennessee, lost that game.
Yeah, I remember.
Even though they had won the AFC South,
Hmm.
um, yeah, that might have been the coldest game I ever been to since I've been covering the team.
Hey, they talked about how cold it was in that game. I remember that game.
Yeah, it was
Hmm.
cold. You know what? But yeah,
Yep.
it's a challenging schedule, man. They got to get out of the gate quick, win them.
Yeah.
They got to beat the Raiders of Denver. You know, Denver. I don't. You know, they're gonna be improved, obviously, with Russell Wilson. But you know, this is their first. It'd be their first trip going to London, so maybe they have the advantage of knowing how to handle the London situation. And
Yep.
I don't see no win against Kansas City.
Yeah. It's just certain teams on there.
Yeah,
I don't think you can
not
compete.
not at Arrowhead. I know they don't have Tyreek no more, but boy,
I wouldn't put any money on that.
I
That's for
think
certain.
even Dallas is tough. It's tough beating Dallas, even though they play them at Jacksonville. That's a good game to go see, though.
Oh, another athlete, Jerry Judy. Oh my God, Jerry Judy.
Jerry
Guys,
Jeudy, what he done?
he got arrested. Yeah. Hold on. Matter of fact, let me pull that up before we go to the Red. We're gonna end it on the Raiders. But yeah, I gotta talk about Jerry. Thank you for reminding me of that, Josh. I appreciate that. You've been clutch. Appreciate that. Let's see. There's girlfriend. That's a misdemeanor case. He said, so he finally was released on bond. Oh, and then she's asking the judge to dismiss the case. Oh, wow. She has remorse. Isn't that something? But this is Jerry Judy's fault. I'm not blaming her. This is all his fault. So let me share this. Let's go into Mr. Jerry Judy. Where are we at? Boom, there we go. So it says, yeah, Jerry Judy, alleged victim, asked judge to dismiss the case. He said Jerry Judy was filmed leaving the jail in Arapahoe County. He had his hood up and said nothing to reporters and photographers on the scene. He said it changed his mugshot. See, the alleged victim in Jerry Judy's criminal tampering arrest warrant wants the case thrown out, telling the judge she's never felt threatened by the NFL star and he never put a finger on her. It was why you call the police then. He said the Denver Broncos receiver and the mother of his 1-month-old child appeared in court in Colorado on Friday where she pleaded with the judge to dismiss the 23-year-old's domestic violence criminal tampering case. As we previously reported, the alleged incident went down around 10:15 a.m. on Thursday when Judy was accused of illegally keeping property from the mother of his child, according to the Arapahoe County Sheriff. The ex-Alabama star was arrested and spent the night in jail before appearing in court on Friday morning. The judge imposed a mandatory protection order on Judy, but alleged the victim did not request a no-contact order. Judy is set to be released on personal recognizance. Yeah, Harvey Steinberg says Jerry Judy should never been arrested. Yeah, now that I read the story and the details, I don't think he should have been arrested either. See, the
No,
NFL's lawyer Harvey Steinberg told reporters after the court appearance his client should not have been arrested or incarcerated. Bad things happen to good people, and that's what I think this case is. Steinberg said. So let me see if I could get the details exactly, because from what I've seen is that she found out he had multiple phones that she didn't know about and she wanted to go through the phones, so she tried to take the phones from him. So he supposedly locked some of either his phones and some of her belongings in his vehicle where she couldn't get to him, and so that's where the issue started. Because when I seen the charge, it said domestic violence enhancer, and I was like, I've never seen that before. I've never even heard of that before. So let's
man,
see, where is it?
that's something where you just get a citation, man, and appear in court, hear each side if he got the merchandise, and then they let the
Mm-hmm.
judge to decide because how you know it wasn't his possession. You know, it's almost like a hearsay, she said stuff. So I don't believe in that arrest there for that merchandise like that.
Yeah, because it was baby formula, and I think some of her other personal belongings because they were arguing, and she wanted access to his other phone, and she's the one who initiated the call to the police, and of course neighbors could hear them. I guess them going back and forth and things like that. But now she's telling them to throw it out because she's seeing what's happening.
Yeah.
So hold on, let me see if this is
Wasn't
back.
those items on his property?
If I'm not mistaken, they were.
Yeah.
Let's see. Judy's lease fund contacting the woman. There's no probable cause. Okay, so say Judy was released with full contact allowed between him and the woman involved, per his attorney, Harper Steinberg, who added, the judge stated there was not probable cause to believe that there was threat or any use of physical force against the victim. Yes, he was not. This was not a domestic violence dispute. He did not put hands on her. She said she didn't feel threatened in any way.
Yeah.
You say it solely involved property and there was no damage to the property.
Right.
He said, Brown said that per Colorado law, the domestic violence enhancer was added to the charge because of the relationship, but because of their relationship. Okay. Said prevented the woman from, Brown said Judy prevented the woman from retrieving several items, including the woman's wallet, medical information for the child, and a car seat. According to a police report submitted to the Arapahoe County
When
Court,
safe
the
drivers
woman,
say for not
oh
answering
man,
their phone while driving, they feel like a big deal.
I got to stop sharing audio. Let's see where it says. Okay, where we at? Oh yeah, Brown said Judy prevented the woman. Okay, yeah. According to police report, the woman told the deputy that things began Wednesday night and that Judy put her wallet and medical paperwork in his car at their home so she could not get them. She said she wanted to go back to Virginia but could not leave without those belongings, telling the deputy that she did not want to get Judy in trouble but just wanted her things back. According to the document, Judy admitted to locking some things in his car, including his baby formula, because the woman took one of his 3 cell phones and would not give it back. So all this was a game to keep away. She was playing. She was got his phone and didn't want to give it back, and he had some of her stuff. It's like, okay, you give me back my phone, I'll give you back your stuff. That's all this was. And she called the police. And so when women do this is one of the issues I have when women do this is that when you do this and you're his wife or the mother of his children, you're taking money out of your pocket as well when you do things like this. I don't think they really understand that because you want him out there making money. So when you do things
The
like
world
this,
was
because if
bigger
this
in the
was a,
picture.
let me stop sharing.
Yeah, man.
There we go. But when you do things like this, and this his reputation takes a hit, money takes a hit. I mean, and he could be out of the league for something off of this. I mean, thank goodness that even she's coming out and saying that she was no threat. He was no threat to her physically. She wants the charges dropped and things like that. But let's say she was vindictive and she was mad. She found out he had another girl. She could allege in this situation that he put hands on her, he did things to her, did things to the child, destroyed property. She could have beat herself up, said he did it, and they would have believed it. It's very dangerous to do things like this. So my advice to Jerry Judy is you got to cut off the relationship. Y'all have a child, so you have to stay in contact, but contact through a family member or something because I will be done.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about the best advice, man. Just don't let it get. It seems like the relationship is volatile, so just cut the cord, man. Take
Yeah,
care of
you
your
got to.
child, but get on out of that.
Yeah, you have to. You got to cut the cord, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. These young guys got to learn. You got to learn, man. Your focus should be on your 1 month old and football. That's what your focus should be on. Yeah, that's what your focus should be on. So we're gonna finish up with the Raiders, and then we're gonna get out of here. The Raiders are imploding. They're just like the Washington Commanders, and the issues that they're going through because that story is still developing by the day. But now the Raiders organization has having some issues. So, see the young lady here named Nicole Adams. She worked in human resources for the Raiders for 5 years. She filed a complaint against the team with the Nevada Equal Rights Commission. Oh, Miss Nicole Adams, good looking sister right there. See, the Las Vegas Raiders have been rocked by a mass exodus of front office leaders amid financial irregularities and dire management blunders like overpaying taxes and underpaying certain employees for years. The latest upheaval came last week with the ouster of team's interim team president. The executive, Dan Ventrell, responded by accusing the owner, Mark Davis, whose family has run the team for more than 50 years, of creating a hostile work environment without giving specifics. It was one of the many examples of a workplace racked by years of dysfunction and the latest sign of NFL franchise with troubled inner workings since the Raiders moved to Las Vegas from Oakland, California in 2020. With high hopes and when the growing market, 6 of the team's 8 top executives have quit or been fired with little explanation either publicly or internally. In interviews with the New York Times, more than a dozen former employees, some of whom spoke on condition of anonymity because they signed agreements with the team prohibiting them from discussing their employment publicly, described numerous problems, large and small. They said lax controls over how money was spent and how people were paid, and even the bungling of payment of its taxes over several years. Not long after this move, the team missed the payment for the electric bill in its temporary office, forcing the lights to be shut off. I mean, how does that happen? You're a professional organization. How does that happen? Nobody has asserted the financial disorder amounts to any crimes, but erroneous information on company ledgers can generally lead to problems with creditors, regulators, and the league and others. Employees who raised concerns over the team's operations were often ignored, pushed out, and given settlements and non-disclosure agreements to keep them quiet. If anyone complained, they were let go, said Nicole Adams, who worked in the Human Resources Department for almost 5 years. She was pushed out in late 2020 and declined to sign the severance agreement. And she said she would have prevented her from speaking about her tenure at the team. She said that Ventrell, then the team's general counsel, joked he would be ready to settle if anyone came forward with a charge. Ventrell did not answer requests for comments, but he told the Las Vegas Review-Journal shortly after he left that he had been making an effort to clean things up and had informed the league officials of written complaints from employees of alleged misconduct. The Raiders did not immediately respond for comment. Of course they did. The NFL declined to comment on Friday after Ventrell's claim last week about hostile work environment of the team. NFL spokesman Brian McCarthy said the league would look into the matter. We recently became aware of these allegations. We take them very seriously. The decimation of the front office staff is the latest in the series of setbacks for the Raiders. In October, Coach John Gruden resigned after the Times detailed emails in which he made homophobic and misogynistic remarks, and he was in the second stint with the team. 2 players from his tenures have been accused of felony crimes. The team's troubles comes at a time when the NFL, more popular than ever, fans grapple with serious questions around the way the league and some teams are run. The league has been stung by a scandal with the Washington Commanders, of course, and they're connected in this, where dozens of female employees accused team owner Daniel Snyder and top executives of harassment. The team last year was fined $10 million and has replaced many executives and rebranded itself. A congressional committee and attorneys general in Virginia and the District of Columbia are investigating some of the accusations, including mismanagement of the team's finances. Okay, so all right, so we gonna go there, but that's just a sample of the dysfunction and things that are going on with the Raiders. And I'm going to say this, Mr. Reid, I'm not surprised. I personally believe that as time goes on, we're going to see more stories of just about every franchise, because it's obvious that they have practices. Each one is individually run, and they have shady practices, and it's going to be exposed.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think the Raiders got a whole bunch of issues, man. From being in a tough market in Las Vegas to hiring the wrong general manager.
Mm-hmm.
Just
how did Mike Mayock get that job? I want to know.
I don't know.
How? I always wondered that. How did he get that job?
It's the NFL Network got some connections. I don't know. But, these NFL teams, man, from what you read there, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if all of them should check how they running their businesses.
Yeah, I would everybody, every team. Oh, not to mention 5 players from their 2020 draft are no longer on the team.
5?
They just traded somebody 2 days ago, and that's 5. Their first 5 picks from 2020 are gone.
They still got Leatherwood.
Yeah, Leatherwood's still there. See, Josh McDaniels got his hands full. Yeah, he do. Josh McDaniels inherited a mess, looks like.
Yeah, you're right about that. You know, his first head coaching job didn't go too well. I hope this one goes better.
Yeah, I hope he learned from that time in Denver.
In Denver,
I know
yeah.
I saw supposedly Darren Waller was on the trading block, and it was rumored that he could be traded to the Green Bay Packers. And I'm like, why?
Yeah.
For what
Yeah, I
purpose?
remember that. Yeah, for what reason? He's one of the best in the league.
Yeah, the Raiders are a mess, man. But these investigations come out, it's going to be more because look at what happened with Urban Meyer here, and then before Urban Meyer, Tom Coughlin. Then you
Mhm.
look at what has going on with the Raiders. Look what Hugh Jackson has said about the Browns. Um, look at Washington, what's going on there. They're trying to force they want Dan Snyder to sell the team. So whoever's got this information, they're gonna keep putting it out there until anything come across. It's gonna continue to be put out there because they want Dan Snyder gone.
Don't forget about those Cowboys and Jerry.
Oh man, and then Jerry got off the field stuff, man. You got your daughter. Your daughter is suing you because you didn't raise her. Isn't that something? That's amazing.
I think Arizona got some issues, man. Their decision making is poor. They just
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, yeah, man. So I mean, it is what it is, but and we gonna leave it right there. Wow, 2.5 hours. We went an hour over than what I said I was gonna try to do, but hey, it's all good, man.
Oh, good, man.
It's all good. Let's
Well, the
see.
Suns went gone fishing.
Oh, Jerry can't drive either. Yes, he hit somebody the other day. Yo,
Oh
I was
no!
on I was on Twitter and Robert Littell of Black Sports Online. Shout out to Robert Littell. He said he had posted the story and I retweeted it and I said, dude, if I'm looking up over the smoke and in my car and I'm got in the shock of getting hit and I see somebody that shadowy figure and I realize it's Jerry Jones, automatically everything broke. I'm hurt. I can't do nothing anymore.
Oh yeah,
I'm talking
yeah.
about I'm on the ground. I'm dead. I'm looking up ways to slow my heart rate so they think I'm dead. Like I want it all from Jerry Jones. So I retweeted and I put that Mike Tyson when they asked him about his injury. He said, my back is broken. He's like, your back is broken? He's like, what kind of back injury you had? He's like, it was spinal. I said, that would have been me to the ambulance. Hey, my back broke, my leg broke, my hip broke, my fingers broke. I would have had all kind of sob stories. I was like, I promised my grandmother I was going to be a concert pianist, and my fingers are broke now, and I can't fulfill that dream. I need $10 million.
Yeah, Jerry.
Yeah, awful, man, awful, man. But he said, okay, so okay, that's the last of the comments, man. But we gonna get up out of here. We gonna put a pin in it right there. We gonna get up out of here, man. Any last thoughts, Mr. Reed, before we go?
I know. I mean, this. I think Jags started their off-season program where everybody's on the field with the rookies, veterans, all that
Mm-hmm.
start next week. But schedule is out. Trevon Walker looked like he's legit, so look like they're
Yep.
moving in the right direction, in my opinion. But that's about all I have.
Yeah. Hopefully, Doug Peterson can get us some healing in these trying times. And it's amazing. All he has to do is just not be a complete and utter failure, and he's going to be better than Urban Meyer. I mean, that's all he has to do. The bar is very low. The bar is very low, Mr. Peterson. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's about it. Get him 7 to 8 wins, and he's on the right track, man. Get the
Yeah.
most out of your talent,
Yep.
and
Yep.
get Trevor Lawrence developed, and he's on his way.
That's it. It's on its way, man. But I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on all my social medias. I gotta put my got to make a banner for my Cash App and the PayPal for anybody who want to donate, contribute to the show. I don't ask for that stuff, but for people who want to do it, hey, I'm more than welcome. Every penny counts because, your boy needs it. And all I'm going to do is invest it back into this platform and going to change my setup soon and trying to do some things differently. and trying to get those subscribers up, because you got to get the people what they want, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He said, hopefully no lawsuits. Yeah, hopefully no more lawsuits. That would be preferable. Yeah, hopefully no more lawsuits, man.
Yeah,
But
hopefully no more lawsuits. Lawsuits for emotional distress in football. Okay.
man, yeah. But if any position had a done this, kicker seems fitting. It really does. It does. Kicker does seem fitting to have something to do
Josh
something like
was a
this.
little different, man. Josh,
Yeah.
people don't know about Josh, man. Josh was a little different player than most players. I'll leave it at that. I don't want a lawsuit, so I just
Yeah, I know diehards know exactly what you're talking about because that talk of him is in a certain circle. So it's for people who are going to know what you're talking about. But man, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. But until next time, man, we are out of here. Peace out, y'all.
peace out.